Okay, now I'm
Will
gonna
the
push go live.
groundhog see his shadow tomorrow? Will there be enough sunlight for old Puxatawny Phil to catch?
I say you got to turn on your love light and get ready for the late sesh, guys. What's going on, everybody?
Late Sesh.
We are live.
Man, I'm looping
You're
over here. I
live.
gotta shut my shit. Here we go.
And I'm Skillbo1, and joined as always by Red Rocket, Spartan Grown, and Sequence. There you go.
No more looping. Hello,
Yes,
hello.
we're
Good
not live.
evening,
Good evening, everyone.
interterrestrial travelers.
Puxatawny Rocket.
Spartan's muted. Red's
Tell 'em.
mumbling.
Tell him, Red, what do you got to do, Red?
Now Red's muted.
Now Red's muted. Jesus fucking Christ. The wheels have fallen off at 11. One, brother.
Make sure
I don't
that
care. I'm
you
smoking
hit
some.
that live chat, top chat, and click that sucker, drop down that window, and hang out with us live. Why not? Hang out. Yeah. Join the late session. No, cheers, everybody. Happy that you are all tuning in. My screen looks a little fuzzy compared to yours. I'm going to have to give my camera a little wipe. I probably have some cannabis smoke or resin and kinds of stuff all over it. But anyways, before I do that, I'm Red Setter Farm, and we're going to chill here on the late sesh. What are you guys smoking on tonight? Anything good? Got some Rainbow Drive.
Crescendo.
There's some Mac Wander there. It made me cough. I was surprised.
Coughing on some Mac one. I think that's actually better. I don't know if anybody else thinks, but I feel like I was a little foggy there. Look at that. Not too
It's
bad.
way better. Does my mic
It's
sound
way
better
better.
now?
You
Sound
sound
good,
good.
Spartan.
Okay, cool.
How about you, Skilbo? Need any adjustments on your end?
Me, ma, mo,
Let's
mo,
talk over
mo,
each other and see how we do. La,
mo,
la, la.
mo.
All right, I think we're doing all right.
Let's talk
Vibing,
over each
baby,
other and
vibing.
see how we do.
That ends
Gotta
up
get
being
y'all
the
ready, man.
last half of the show. Yeah, I actually have gotten a lot of stuff done in the garden in the last week. You know, a couple weeks. Done some other cleanups, move
Nice.
arounds. Kicked on like 600 watts of HPS to but to just kind of beef out some moms and kind of refresh them up. They've been hiding under some like really low watt T5s. Like T5s burn out a long time ago, and I replaced them with some like fluoro LEDs. And the fluoro LEDs did okay, you know, fluoro like fluorescent style, you know, like T5 style LEDs. They were like $10 a bulb, $20 a bulb, kind of like some cheap fill-ins from Lowe's in the meantime, while I can kind of like transition my crop out to where I have putting together some extra additional vertical shelves, fluence lights, and things like that. I'm gonna be vegging under, but prior to that, like the moms have just been under kind of some shitty light for the last while. So I'm kind of trying to bring them back. So I put them underneath some little HPS light. Gonna kick them back, take some new clones specifically to get rocking underneath the fluence and have
Baby
all
come
my
back.
mom's stock back out there. So are we already coming back?
Baby's
Yeah.
coming back. Yeah, that's what you're going to do.
What baby's coming back?
Oh, my God. I threw the wheels off Red already.
I don't even know what's going on, man. Usually
Everything
baby
Red
comes
was
back
saying
and-
was great.
I know.
usually
No,
baby
I'm
comes
saying
back and
he's talking.
stop. So you just confused me.
You see what he
And then
did,
just
Red?
Froze. Did he freeze or is it
He
me?
froze. He ruined
Holy
everything
shit,
you
what
were
just
saying,
happened?
and then came back to freeze. What kind of?
I don't even know what I was saying anymore. I'm so confused. Anyways, I took a bunch of clones. I think they got roots in, God, 7 or 8 days. Skilbo, are you still there, or are you making that face on purpose?
He's
Come on.
totally like he's.
You guys got a meme on this face now. You got a meme on this face. Hold on, can I spotlight it?
Yeah, chat and our fans. I unleash you.
Giving
this
him the
portrait of
spotlight.
Skilbo.
I spotlighted
Oh
it. Did
no,
it
it's
come up?
disappearing. He's
It
gone.
doesn't come on. I can't see it.
Yeah.
I spotlighted it.
Oh, he's
I don't know
gone.
if that was on
Come on.
YouTube, but that was on our
He's
end.
gone now.
Skilbo, thank you for that. That was gold. I enjoyed that. I hope you guys got it.
Oh, I did get him full screen for a moment before he left.
Oh, very good. I
I
only
was
got
watching
black
the
screen,
YouTube.
so-
He was full screen, but now
gonna
it's just
check him again.
YouTube. So
Well, Skilbo, we hope to bring you back here shortly. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get myself a little garden update and try
aliens
to add to
abducted
the.
him, Red.
What's that?
The aliens abducted him, dude.
They totally got him. They knew we were gonna start talking about him. They had to get the source gone. Nope, he's coming back. Beaming him back.
Oh dang, he's back.
He's gonna have a cow with him.
They didn't want him. They got like a dose of them. They're like, nah, you can go right
It's
back.
like when a shark bites a person, they're like, oh, that tastes like KFC. What the fuck?
It tastes like
It must be a Monday thing too, because he worked just fine last night, and then last Monday it wasn't cooking so well. And tonight it's Scubba, you're using a lot of data over there on Monday nights. You got like a online.
But he
poker tournament
retried
or
a
something
thing
going on.
in between yesterday and today.
He had himself a Wi-Fi extender. You would think
Lucas
that it
says I'm
got
giving
even
CPR
better.
right now. That is accurate.
So I guess I'll do Scubba's job and start shouting out everybody in chat here. We got Blue Kiss Gardens and Weedus 207, John Doak, Haas Farms, Delta 9, Resurrection Prophet, Beardman Farms, Spartan Grown. What's up, man? How you doing, Spartan? Anyways, how are you doing in your garden tonight, my friend? Lady Bake, what's going on? Weedus, I think I already shot you out.
Shout out Lady
If
Bakes.
not,
She
it's
was just
good.
on Medical Mondays. I was chatting with her there. We were talking about the abolished medicated lubricant. Anyway,
Well, shit, let's shout out abolished medicated lubricant, as a matter of
shout
fact.
out to Abolished and Miss C and their medicated lubricant.
Is abolished in our chat yet? Abolished, are you in there?
Yeah, he's in there.
Probably.
He's in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Skibbo's lurking too. Welcome back,
I am-
Skibbo.
Thank you. I'm going to keep my video off because I'm so fucking hideous, but actually it's because I have a potato signal. So I'm going to leave it off for a minute and see if I could still ride
You're
with
still
this.
making that face, aren't you? Is that what's going on? You're still making
it
that
is.
face.
It's that
You were
growling
memeing
face.
on a face that you were making.
I love it.
Did you bring a cow back with you? That's the other question. And if so, is it a miniature cow or a large cow?
It is an empty cow now.
In case you didn't get the reference, you're joking that you got abducted by aliens, and aliens also abduct cows.
I was thinking of like the Gary Larson thing when they used to remember the old cartoon, man. The
No.
Of course you
Get
don't.
your shit together. We gotta get you be on our page.
So we're just thinking about this.
Old-
Do you think aliens abduct cows to use their methane because maybe their spaceships are methane powered?
I think it's because they're short and they know that milk does a body good. They're drinking milk these days, so watch out,
Dude,
Tiger.
milk does not do a body good.
They're gonna be.
So do you think that aliens are dry aging beef when they abduct these cows, or are they just eating the cows straight up?
They're making moccasins.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
so you're using all the
Martian
pieces. I
moccasins.
can respect that.
I mean, you have to. You have to be frivolous with these things that are intergalactic and
Bullhorn
traveling
utensils, bullhorn shoe horns, and combs, even though they're maybe bald if they're gray aliens. But if they're
Your
lizard
sponsors
people
are in the
or
chat,
morphers,
guys.
they
Make
may have
sure
hair.
to check out Easy Swap Pots 2020 Mendocino. Seed
Cheers,
Sellers
Easy
Genetics.
Swap.
Cheers, Easy Swap. Appreciate your stuff.
So, cheers, Easy
Hey,
Swap.
I had a meeting with Easy Swap today.
I really
and
enjoyed
missed
meeting those
it. I'm
guys
sorry.
at our grow off.
Appreciate your stuff.
Yeah, Brandon's been a good guy the whole time, man.
Oh, fucking
And definitely go back and watch
I've
our
been
old
with us
podcast
since
with
the
him.
beginning.
Yeah,
I can still
Half
remember
tempted
the
to
first
just
time I met
buy
them.
another box of 100 instead of clean all my bags out because I just hate cleaning fabric pots. But otherwise, fucking love those things, man.
I
Oh,
just
Easy Swap
planted
Pots
some of
lurking
those
in
today.
chat too. What's up, Brandon?
Yeah, I just did some transplants today into, I go from the Easy Swap
Yikes, I bet that was loud.
into the sip containers.
Getting
Get
the
yourself
dabs out of the
some good
parchment. I
growth
thought I was
started up.
muted.
That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry about that.
double
What was loud,
doggers.
man? I'm sorry. I was being loud talking. If you think you have something going on with your mic again, Sequence, I think it's not. I didn't
Sequence,
hear
do
it.
this. Say, me, ma, mo.
You didn't hear all of this in the background?
No, I don't think so.
What?
No, we didn't. Yeah,
Those
I'm
sound
telling you,
like
man.
official
Unreal.
papers.
No,
Hey,
we
look
didn't.
who's here.
I get the
we
best
have.
microphone in the history of microphones.
Hey, welcome, Painted Lady.
Oh, you got that Shure microphone? Is that what you're rocking? What's up,
About
painted
time we
lady?
have
Wish.
We have
What's
a
going on,
resilient
guys?
track now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome
Hey,
to
thanks for the invite to the Late Sesh. I feel so fucking cool.
Well, you're officially
were
cool
before.
now. You're on the Late Sesh. You're officially cool. You made it.
Now you're cool.
This is officially where the cool kids hang out on Monday nights.
I don't know.
I'll
She
be
might have
officially-
made the show cooler.
On
right?
Monday.
Well,
The
Stabby's
the cool.
in chat,
Well,
obviously.
this is where the cool kids and Sequence hang out
And
on
for
Monday nights.
Growlers in chat. What's up, man? Growlers, Stabby.
Agree.
Cheers,
Agree.
guys.
What's
Everybody's
up, fellas?
popping in here.
I'll be
Yeah, we've just
officially
been
cool
rapping
for.
on a little bit of nothing. Little aliens early, believe it or not. Like before hash time with the aliens, we got a little bit of garden update started, but otherwise we're kind of waiting.
aliens
Skilbo's
interrupted
showing
us.
his face again, so maybe we're back on track. I think we're cruising now. Anyway, Painted Lady, how's your garden looking tonight?
It's looking good, you guys. I flipped those JTRs to flower, and I just said screw it, and I did all of them. I don't want 3 solo cups. I really don't. But I don't know. I just flipped them all to flower, and then all the rest of my veg ladies are looking good. I got some caps cut, getting ready to go over into the flower room, and I've got an empty flower room right now. Everything's all cleaned out, so I just did a complete sanitization of the situation, and I'm getting ready to move all the veg girls over. So
I like the professional sounds of that. Sanitation of the situation.
that's right. I mean,
Sounds like an old song, man. You could make something off of that.
it's like the 5th dimension.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Is that what you're hitting me with?
Well, could be. I got that album in the mail from Kazoo with my artwork that he was so graciously sent me in a big old 40 or not a 45, but big old album. I don't even have anything to play it on, but it's really cool looking. 5th dimension. But anyway, how was your guys' gardens?
Fantastico.
I'm back, that's for sure. Starting to look a lot better. I've finally been getting all my veg has just been overgrown, like all fall for the most part. I just had really limited time to get things working. I've been focused with bloom and processing and stuff, and it's just been hectic. But I want to get into it later. I saw Stabby talk about silica on their silica based life. I saw something that was talking about there being, or they have found, or something where there was, I don't know where, maybe at the bottom of the ocean or some crazy place here on Earth, where they found some sort of like a silicon-based life form. There was something that survived. It was primarily
Silicon Martians. Yeah, man.
I don't know what it was, or what it was that they found, or if it was but it was living. It was a living organism. So maybe somebody else has some keys into what that was.
13 minutes in, and we're firmly in late sesh territory, guys.
Oh, absolutely. It's the first Monday of February. We got to kick
you
off
came
the
here
month,
for.
right?
This is where Red lets his hair down.
I'm just getting the topic going. That way we can come back to it after hash time. Maybe somebody will toss something in there about that.
Somebody's YouTubing it right now, dude.
No, I was earlier. I was in my veg room and I went through and cleaned everything up, and you know what I mean. Get all that stuff that we were talking about on Painted Lady's plants the other night. You know, Spartan was talking about the little. You know, she needed to shave her armpits a little bit on those plants, so I went through and that was the notice I needed to do mine. So I got that rock and rolling. Went through, did that. Everything is looking really happy. I took some of my fresh worm castings and I put them in a bag and I just dunked them for a little bit. Have a large whip that shit around, agitated. I figure I knocked enough microbes off of her and hit everything again. So when I went in a little while ago, everything is looking like the Land O'Lakes. You know, they got the hands up and looking good. So I'm doing it right now. I don't know about tomorrow, but today she's good.
Just keep doing more motions with your hands. That way when you freeze again next time, you're stuck like this. I'm just kidding with this go. You seem to have froze like 2 or 3 times.
Big like mouth movements. Big mouth.
I'm not gonna make you repeat yourself. Unless somebody else wants you to.
I promise.
Give me
it
an how now
good.
brown cow, Skilbo.
How now, brown cow.
Damn it! It didn't freeze.
Perfect.
What is it? The quick brown fox leaped over the lazy dog or some shit like that. Isn't the other one?
Yeah, red leather, yellow leather.
I had
you can catch Red Rocket on his OnlyFans to find out more about the red leather and the yellow leather. Thinking he has like a Bruce Lee costume that's in like the yellow leather now with the black stripe, the Asics.
Hey, I have I guess it's not leather. Never mind. It's a waxed apron. But you won't.
Well then.
The other one's leather though.
Red, where does Red Rocket come from? I'm afraid to ask because that's kind of what we always used to call my dog's dick when it used to come out like unexpected.
That's
That's
where it comes from.
exactly where
Okay.
it comes from.
Exactly where the name comes from.
Okay, then I'm on the right
You're
track.
good.
Good. Then I belong here.
She goes, I'm on the right track.
I've been occasionally changing the name, trying to come across as many red objects or things, people, celebrity types, or whatever. Really, last week it was Red Pumas. Thanks to Stabby for getting that conversation going the day before.
When are you going to be Red Fox?
The Red Puma skate is going on. I don't know. That might be a copyright name, but we'll see. I'll try it out. Red.
Well,
Green.
Stabby is.
Remember
I
that
love
show?
it when you call me Big Pumice. That's our other name for him.
Abolish says it's my favorite childhood game.
That's a hell of a non sequitur.
What game? I already lost. What game? Which game is that?
Red Rocket, you genius.
See, he's thinking Red Rover.
He was thinking Red Pumice. Like what? Getting pumice thrown at you? That's the game. Jeez, you guys had it rough in the country.
I've already done Red Rover. It was episode 54. I really don't know.
I
Actually,
like
not
Red
that high.
Velvet.
Red Velvet's a good one. I like that.
Red
one.
Velvet's my favorite, I think.
I think Dave's not.
We got
here to
Red
toss that
Foreman
in.
in the chat, Red Dawn, Red Green,
Everybody's coming up. Red Green. Holy shit.
Red
Shout out,
Dead.
Remember,
Love that
I-
show.
if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. That's my shout out to Red Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Red Green, man.
Remember, we're all in this thing
That
together.
That
I'm
is-
pulling for you.
that's
Keep
some
your stick on the ice.
Fine entertainment. You can still get that
Red
fine
Dawn.
entertainment.
That's why we yell Wolverine here.
She doesn't
now.
find you
we're-
handsome. She can at least find you handy.
Right. We're showing love to our friends up north in Canada.
So my
Who's the
garden,
Major General.
Red
I'm
Ranger
pretty
type
excited. In my garden, I decided to go a third cycle in my M3, and
Good for you, man.
with just amending it. So
Good for you.
I've got a third cycle one going, and then the other three for that light are both second cycles. So I'm really keeping my eye on that. But the reason I decided to go ahead, because they usually run out after about 2, and then the third one is tough. But it's because I had my own worm castings, so I was like, I just went heavy on it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go extra worm castings and see if that'll get me through the third cycle. So we'll see.
Now, how big are your beds?
The planters they will hold a 1.5 cubic feet of soil.
Okay. So when you recharge those with the build a soil, the all-in-one, how much of that did you use for that?
So what I did was I did
Old Smoke wins right now. I might have to use that one.
so what I did was I did a normally I usually would use a quarter cup, but I doubled it. So I did a half cup this time because it's the third cycle. And then so I did basically a quarter cup on the front and a quarter cup on the back. And then I did some worm castings all around over the top, like a top dress. And then I did I finished it. Oh no, I did a quarter cup of, no, not even a quarter cup. I did a tablespoon of oyster shell flour and a tablespoon of gypsum. And then
That's a big difference in measurements.
Yeah, I got it right eventually. I've been smoking.
Yeah, you know. Got to get that calcium though, and the sulfur and all that. So that's good.
And so the oyster shell is calcium carbonate, and then the gypsum is calcium sulfate. And then and then at the very end I threw the gnarly barley over top, and then just watered it in. So that was what I did for that one. I kind of threw the kitchen sink at it. I mean, I got more stuff I could use, but that's more targeted like for a certain nutrient. So I'm just waiting. I'll watch the plant and see what it, see what she tells me.
Well, in the beginning, it'd be better to be less is more, and then to address things as you see them on the next run.
Oh, I forgot one. I'm sorry. I just forgot one thing. I did do alfalfa meal, and I did do, I believe that was 2 tablespoons because I was super worried. That's always the thing I run out of first is nitrogen. Once you start going with these cycles, at least for me, it seems like my plants will suck up the nitrogen before anything else. So that's one of the things that I had to get back in because I'm not cover cropping either. So I don't have any way for nitrogen to get back into the soil. So I did do alfalfa this time too.
Everything looks good, right?
So far.
Yeah.
It's only been a day. We'll
Hey,
see.
it still looks good. There you go. Work, microbes, work. Red, are you still rolling up?
I kind of just started rolling up. Yeah, it was about 11:17 or something. I kind of decided
Great
to
number.
Bring my plate over. Yeah, I figured it was a good number. 117. Toss a 7 in there. Lucky number 7 for somebody.
All adds up to 10, Red. Prime number goes back to 1. Come on, where's the late session? Let's do it up big, baby.
Man, I miss hanging out with Red so much.
Now we're gonna start talking about.
Thanks,
spirals,
fucker.
Fibonacci. That's the after hash time. Are you 5 or are you not 5?
So Spartan, how often do I have to amend that soil then? Like every time I run it, then I just use that 2 tablespoon amendment thing?
So it's going to be depending on the pot size that you're using and the plant and all that. So hold on, let me blow this thing out. All right.
Yeah, man, you got to be safe with that shit. Now. Those come with a flammable warning.
So, okay, so I can tell you what I do for me, but that's not gonna help you much because the quantities are gonna be different.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, generally speaking, if you're gonna reuse your soil, you're gonna have to replace the nutrients that you pulled out of that soil when you made the plant, right? So, and you do that with different raw materials. What I like to do is I use a product called Craft Blend. It comes from Build a Soil.
Yep.
But if you don't want to order from Build a Soil, the substitute I would use is, and I think you had it, was BioLive.
Yeah, that's the one I got. There you go, Red. That's looking good.
I'm not sure if you had it or not, but it's a down to earth box.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it at the store, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, you could. That was why I recommended that because you can get it at most grow stores. But Build a Soil, I really like Craft Blend better. But either way, and I even use the same quantities of both. I do about a 1/4 cup in a 1.5 cubic foot of soil.
Okay.
So that gives you a kind of a idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And then another thing you can do is like, you could amend that and then plant into it or whatever. What I actually like to do is right at harvest, I'd like to do that amendment then on that pot. Okay. And then whenever you get to it, you can let it sit for a month if you want to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can let it sit for a day or a month. It doesn't matter, however you want to do it. But I also will watch the plant. If I'm putting in veg and it looks like it's getting hungry, I might use that Craft Blend to just do a across the board amendment again.
Okay.
So you could use that kind of like to cover all your bases if you want to. It's kind of nice to have a bag of that to be kind of your go-to. My go-to is worm castings, but that Craft Blend is like my next.
So the Craft Blend is like your bottles.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm only using it to replenish at the end usually. Actually, I do like to do, this is my thing. At the very end, I'm throwing it down to replenish what I took out. But I also, when I switch, so when I go from veg to flower, I like to do a little top dress of it just to replace, anything that was used up in veg.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense. Cool. I think you got a handle on it. My girls are looking happy. And it's just so weird to go down there and not pH anything or just mix anything up. Just what I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Time I just not doing anything. And then I go down there the next day and everybody's just happy as can be. So
trust the process, Painted Lady. Trust the process.
What's fun to me is like just watching my own evolution of how I grew. You know what I mean? And I started out with cocoa in the bottles, but to me, it's like
me too.
I was just doing kind of the bare minimum at first, and then I got more and more involved, and then got creative. I tried all these different kinds of way to grow, but now I'm just finding that I'm getting the best results when I can just leave everything alone and just let the fucking plant do its thing.
Yeah.
So it's like the more less involved I get. Now I might do stuff like build soils, or I might, fuck around with my worm bin, but I'm not technically in there fucking around with the plants much. And they are just, I'm in the grow room a lot, but and doing plant training stuff, but I'm not really, as far as feeding goes, I'm like you said, just like if you're in a hurry, you can get away with just splashing water on it and not even measuring shit if you don't want to.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole new world for me right now. I just, like I said, I'm used to spending a long time down there. And when I go down there and I'm just kind of like, okay, that was it. And then I just look at them and yeah, it's cool.
Before we started the show, Spartan and I were talking. Go follow Brandon Rust if you're not already on Instagram.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
But he was talking about the kelp and how it's like the remediator of the sea, and it can take on a lot of heavy metals and stuff like that. And I had been aware of it, but don't get carried away with kelp is the message that I took away from that. Because in the beginning I was guilty of that. So more isn't necessarily better, especially when you're working with some things like the alfalfa or the kelp. You know what I mean? You don't want to make too many branch sites and everything else, or you know what I mean? It all changes the plant.
Yeah, so those two things that you just mentioned, alfalfa and kelp, both, why he's saying that is they both have plant, they're basically PGRs. There's plant growth. They don't call it that. They call it something else, plant enhancers or some stupidness, but same shit. They're hormones. So once you start getting towards flowering, when your plant's hormones are changing, that's when you want to stop fucking with. You don't want to go heavy on either one of those because you could really maybe even force hermaphrodites or all kinds of issues. So you're going to use those products, use them really early on.
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that just from my blue and yellow bottles, because that's just based from the sea, and all the kelp stuff's eliminated in veg. After that, it's kind of, they have like some humate product in it, but pretty much the kelp is gone. So yeah, it makes sense. I will note, although I do use the kelp meal in my soil amendment. Rasta Bob told me that it's kelp meal and neem meal, and then an oyster basalt.
Coot likes kelp a lot too, but you just don't want to use. I mean, if you source the kelp, I mean, you probably got like Down to Earth or something like that. I'm sure. Yeah, and that's. I'm not really familiar with Down to Earth, to be 100% honest, but I'm sure, just knowing that company, that it's been tested and everything, I'm sure you can go on their website and the thing you have to worry about as far as kelp is the species that they harvest. Certain species are really good at picking up some of these heavy metals and things like arsenic and what was the other one that was mentioned? I can't remember. Brandon was just going over this stuff. Mercury.
I just remember mercury and arsenic. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm probably glowing in the dark from all the sushi I fucking eat.
Don't eat too much tuna, man.
Shit.
We're gonna put you in as a thermometer, Painted Lady. Put you in a corner. Nobody puts Painted Lady in a corner.
Sushi, and from the sushi I eat. Yeah.
Specific fish. Has to be very specific, Skilbo.
Chat.
So glad you joined us tonight, Painted Lady.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I'm totally honored. I feel like a total bro now that I'm on the Late Sesh.
You're definitely a total bro.
I appreciate it. I don't know how long I'm going to last. I'm surprised I'm like 11:30. Holy crap. Yeah. But
Spartan used to say that very same thing too. He'd be like, I'm just going to come on. I'm just going to smoke a joint. Then I'm going to sign out. Remember?
Yep.
Then it was like, well, I'll stay till hash time. And, don't let me smoke this Mac 1 too soon. And then, now he's a trooper. He stays till the end. And he entertains Red Rocket until the end.
That sounds real bad. That'll get you kicked off YouTube.
I don't entertain the Red Rocket to the end, Skilbo. Thank you for the glowing report.
Just can't be a tease now. Lady Bakes in the chat says, nice joint, Red Rocket.
Thank you very much. I saw her post Red Rum. I really like that one, dude. It's a good. I did that one about a few, maybe 3. It was a while ago.
Maybe a month ago.
It was a month ago at least.
Got to catch my breath.
So I've just weighed up this So it's a 0.587. We'll say 7. So that means I'm going to have a really hard time waking up in the morning, but oh well. It is what it is.
Did you say 0.87?
No.
0.87? Oh,
0.5. 0.57.
It's still sleepy go night night.
Yes. At least 300 milligrams.
Oh, it's over that.
I know what that feeling feels like when your bed it feels like you're sunk halfway into your bed from the RSO.
The 3 minutes you can remember it.
Well, here's fun fact. So we just started. Now, do you remember the? I don't remember if I showed you guys a picture or a video of the room that has the GMO in it. Well, we had an issue where the light controller was left on for like the first week. We thought it was in flour, but no, it just stayed in veg for the first week. So this is GMO.
Oh my, dude.
Yeah, and so this GMO is just ridiculous tall.
And 24 hours too.
Like stupid, ridiculous tall. Yeah, it was 24 hours on. I got a video. I'm gonna have to send it to you guys of it today. We're in there trying to leaf strip this thing on ladders, or not ladder, step stools, 3-step like painting ladder kind of stools. And it's still like, I'm a pretty tall dude and I'm still like, holy shit. So, but it is stacked so hard right now because it's gotten so close to the lights, even though I've had to raise the lights already once. It's still pretty close to the lights for as early it is in flower, because in the commercial setting, you hang the lights high because you just basically fill the light with room. All right, I said that backwards. Fill the room with light, and then your walls and everything are white, so they're reflecting everything back in. So as long as you just fill that room with plants, it's going to get all the light, and you can just let the plants grow up towards the light, and they'll be 3 feet away, 4 feet away sometimes, but not these GMO. They're like fucking maybe 3 feet right now. But they're stacking super hard for GMO. So I cannot wait to see. It's going to be like 4 foot. I think we've stripped like at least 4 foot of bare legs on these things. And there's probably right now another 3 feet. We've already went way past our third net. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
That's a lot of trimming, man.
It'll be long days for Spartan when it comes to harvesting the tall.
His favorite smell too. Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one. It's like, I'm not looking forward to harvesting because they're so tall. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
Do you have 150 in there?
Yep.
Oh,
150.
That's crazy.
It's all right. We'll get it done. We always do.
Is the whole room GMO or just the?
Yep.
Wow,
whole
nice.
room's GMO. We don't do a whole lot of split runs unless we get bring in a new one that we want to try or something.
Oh, that smell, man. That smell was so fucking good. That whole room.
Of what?
Especially the GMO or the sour garlic cookies for me. I mean, just when you have a whole room like that, it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, I got it right here. We got to link up because I still got that jar of sour garlic cookies for you.
There you go.
Right here, dude.
I'll fight you for it, Skillbo.
No.
Well, I like that idea.
No.
Let me get the pool. Let me get the kiddie pool out.
I've got the Jello.
Long time viewers know I've talked about that shit.
Of Jello in my.
Skillbo has to wear the bikini.
Skillbo's got Jello wrestling legacy.
He's got to wear that wig too, that blonde wig.
Oh, you got to have the Rip Taylor wig too?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have blonde on blonde action.
This is going on the Patreon.
There you go.
The highest level
Only
of
fans.
Patreon too. Yeah.
I just got really fucking high and had a really good time and just had a lot of laughs, It was just fun as shit to do that.
People are
That was
begging for
really
more.
funny.
Skillbo. In my DMs, I'm sure in your DMs, I'm sure in all of our DMs, people are begging for more. Rip just has to make a return.
I still have the costume, so it's no big deal. I mean, the show totally fucking owes me money on the coat. I'm owed $1.58 by the Michigan Bros Grow Show. They owe me my money. Give me my money.
They owe me my money, and I haven't seen a dime. You that $1.58.
This fucking gig ain't paying, man. Damn.
I'm getting a little
Cash App
tired,
might
guys.
have a
I'm gonna have to
minimum.
go.
Yeah, he's bouncing out.
Sequence is bouncing out.
I started talking about money, and he's trying to duck me now. See, that's how it's working.
Cash App's got
I'm
the
just
minimum.
getting tired.
You're ducking me.
Venmo's got a minimum.
$1.58.
I want my $2.
I want my $2. Better off dead, man.
Oh, now it's
How's that
$2. Look at this
We
shit.
want our content, Scobo.
It was $1.50 just a second ago.
$1.58. I had to pay tax on it.
The deal was you were supposed to use the jacket more than once. Or keep using it.
Oh, it's a recurring costume.
It's a
Okay.
recurring costume. That's why you
Write that shit off on taxes for $1.58.
You gotta wear that shit on the
you
show.
haven't
You
worked-
gotta wear that
you
shit on the
haven't
show.
Sequence. I'm gonna need
haven't
something
earned
written
that
up for
$1.50.
my accountant. I'm gonna need something written up that I can do depreciation on this fucking jacket.
Um,
I don't know how many seasons of
Depreciation?
depreciation for that.
It
The
was
rule of
already half
72.
off.
We need a
the rule of 72.
contract
Give me some
written up
fucking
here.
depreciation.
Deduct 3 cents every year.
Hey, he needs some fucking gas mileage too on that shit. He had to drive to get that fucking jacket.
That's 30 cents a mile.
Wow. What? What the fuck? Are we stagecoaching this shit?
Isn't that right? Isn't that how it works?
You saw them cars he fucking
Fucking-
rolled up. You saw the fucking commercial. You saw the cars he rolled up in. That's
You
not
see
good
what I
gas
got,
mileage.
man. That old 78 Thunderbird shit.
That
You're
A-team van.
Hey, do not fucking mock the fucking unicorn van or the Wolfman van.
The Wolf
The man wolf.
van.
The man wolf van.
Oh man, that thing rocks so much. I mean, that thing's always rocking.
If that van's a rockin', you better not come knocking.
That thing has serial killer written all over it.
Free candy. It's the Kid Catcher 3000.
Stubby says I need a shirt with Scobo on it in character.
If you're not
We could
riding
probably make that
unicorns
happen. I
with
could take
heavy
a picture of
artillery,
that.
Are you really living at all? That was on the van, actually. He was riding unicorns.
Shout out to Medical Mondays in the chat.
Shout out Medical
Shout out
Monday.
Medical Mondays.
They were touting the cereal milk CBD on their show, man. They're loving that cereal milk CBD.
I'm smoking some, it's called Legendary OG, and it's from Happy Buds. I just got it today. It's tested at 17% CBD and 0.008, or excuse me, 0.08 on the THC. So it is hemp. It is legal to buy it. But I did see on the front of the packaging, because I bought an ounce of this stuff called Silver Suver, SUVER. And it tests again at like 17%. But I bought like an ounce of it, used the code, it was like $50. So
Yeah,
and
I
it
was
did
gonna
come
say,
with
did
it
you
came
pay
with a hemp
CBD
wick.
price for it, or did you pay cannabis price for it?
Oh, definitely hemp prices. It was $50 for the ounce, bro. Got the free pre-roll. I even have a hemp wick that I'm gonna give to Spartan the next time I see him. So make sure he's
It's a really
stocked
good
up. Yeah. Gotta pass the love on, Red.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's all snarled up and shit, you know.
Getting low. This used to be a big old ball of it.
Well, I do. I actually have this stuff right here.
You could be
Your
So-
beard
responsible
caught
for-
on fire. How much
You
hemp
could be
wick did you
responsible
lose?
for burning his entire beard off.
My beard will survive. It's a survivor.
I almost lost my hair the other day. I gotta make sure it's pulled back. I was lighting a bong with mine.
Doing Pepsi commercials
My hair
again?
was like hanging over, and I didn't realize it.
Hashtag man
I'm
bun.
hoping not, dude. I thought about it. I was like, holy shit! Almost went up like
You
mine.
need the Rasta hat, dude. Just fucking get the Rasta hat. Pile it up in there.
It's nice. It's nice and dense. It's no real give to it.
Which is that, Scobo?
This is called
Squeeze.
Suver Haze.
Oh, that's the
SUVER.
That's the hemp stuff. Okay.
All right, I got it. This is too good
little
for me not to
closer.
fucking read this out of chat. Stabby says, "How much is it gonna cost me to get a shirt with skill ball on it next to the unicorn van? Just shut up and take my money."
That's what I'm wondering, man.
It's
I'll
like
get
the
the
Late
good camera
Sesh's
out,
Great
take a
Space
picture.
Coaster. Yeah, man. We can edit
We'll make
something
it
up for
happen.
that.
This
Yeah.
unicorn and guy riding this unicorn with his machine gun needs to be.
The machine gun is what
some
made
sort.
that fucking van, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't want that garden their cannabis farm?
If you want to see more pictures of those, there's a certain thing you can type into Google that will get you to see a whole bunch of them. And if you type in mural van, MURAL, mural van, you will see all kinds of cool shit. The aliens are trying to grab me. I can see I'm flashing in and out here.
Wow, one episode and he's giving away the production secrets.
You can't copy.
Good
You can
grief.
only appreciate you can.
Poor Abolish. Abolish, you can't keep anything secret. I hope you
I'm the
didn't
one
tell
that-
him your
I'm the-
next idea.
The one that found that. That was
often,
me.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Remember that.
Abolish next idea. He's gonna tell
Yeah, that's
after the
cool.
break. He's gonna say that one. After hash time.
I mean, I just can't be
Hashtag.
Rip Taylor, the used car sales, when I've got to broaden my fucking horizons and see what else I can hawk.
What are you hawking these days?
I've got to get you some Mylar bags.
What do you think, Painted Lady?
I'm sorry. We're just going to skip past Skillbo saying, see what else I can honk. And nobody bats an eye at that. That's just
I
a
did.
normal
I
thing.
said I asked him what he was hawking these days.
I was
Oh,
just
it was a
about to
honk.
take that. It was served up on a silver platter, and he handed it to me. But I'm happy to hand it over to you, Spartan. I'm glad you took it. Hey, check out this. I have a new little piece to show. It's not new to me, but it's new to you guys. I don't think I've ever used it on the show.
I dig
Don't
that.
point that thing at me.
Is
That's
that
fucking
stone
cool.
or like bone?
It's
It's-
skull, right?
I had them carve it out of my ex-husband's shin bone.
Yes.
Gnarly.
No, it was from Mexico.
Sweet.
My friend went there on vacation and picked it up for me, and I thought it was really fucking
It's
cool.
really
So
cool.
It's cool.
Looks-
yeah,
definitely looks like some sort of stone or something. Pretty cool.
yeah, it is definitely stone. I don't know what kind it is, but it's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So
Love skulls.
cheers.
That's super
I
cool.
haven't named him yet. I name all my pieces. Did I tell you that I named this Pearl?
Yep. I remember you telling me that was Pearl.
Mini Pearl?
Yeah. Dave's not here. Actually, he bought it for me and he named it. So cheers to Dave's not here.
I like the
Thanks
graphics
again
on
for
it.
Pearl. I love her. But I gotta name this one, this little guy. And
Well, how do you know it's a guy?
Is it a
could
rock
be-
or is it a
could be
bone?
I feel like it's a guy.
Oh, okay.
It's. I think it's a rock. But yeah.
It's a cow shin bone.
What does it taste? Does it taste like a rock or like a bone?
Could make
Probably
soup
one
with
of
it.
those.
If you put it in a soup, what would you make?
That was a loaded question, and
Bone broth. It'd make
I
some bone
believe
broth.
it is stone.
That's
It's
a
stone.
loaded question.
But
Oh, Red Rocket.
I just think he was really cool, and I just have not come up with a name for him yet. So if anybody in chat has a good one, Hector, that's kind of cool. C-Dub, I kind of like Hector.
Well, who's somebody known notorious for having a hard head? You gotta name it after that, right?
True.
It might be your ex-husband, huh? After all,
Yes. Hector
Yeah,
is
but I don't want to
bone
smoke
collector.
him anymore.
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Been there, done that. Divorced it.
Had enough of
I
that
like
flavor.
Hector. Hector's kind of cool.
You
But
have to say
anyway,
it properly, though. You have to enunciate.
Hector.
Yes.
I just Stabby lost a piece today. Rest in peace. Peace.
Rip in peace.
That is often the worst. I had one for like, dude, not even 2 weeks. It was a nice Sherlock too. It was relatively cheap, so I'm not too destroyed on like the finances part of it. But I was just so surprised. I barely had it for a couple. It shattered right here below my feet, right here on the show. Pretty sure it was a late session.
Oh, dude, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough, man.
Sometimes it's easier to let them go early than it is later. When you get
Maybe
really,
early
really accustomed to a
September,
piece.
Late
Yeah.
August, early September sometime. You see me sitting here fucking with it and probably throw it across the room accidentally. No, but
Polish broke a banger this week. I broke a cap this week.
oh man, don't even tell me about all this.
Don't jinx me, you guys.
Seriously, I need to watch.
Pearl's right here.
I was
Listening.
thinking, I don't think I broke anything for a while. I just burnt the shit on my fucking beard. That's my thing.
And that regenerates like Wolverine.
Oh jeez. I hope not. I'm getting kind
Go
of used
blue.
to being shorter. It's so much nicer to like wash and everything. It's quicker.
Not as many crumbs get in it.
Now about the same amount of crumbs getting.
Yeah.
You're picking up less COVID germs in that too now.
I mean, it doesn't even need a fucking paper
Yeah.
plate with that thing. You just need a taco over it and shake it out into your hand and throw it on another taco.
Skilbo, I'm telling you.
I mean,
you
it's
can't
just like I'm just gonna stay muted, I think.
Keep them coming, Silva. Doing great.
Doing great. Yeah, it's probably fucking shit horrible. Oh, how much dead silence can we have at one time? I'm not sure.
I can't believe Chad didn't run away with that taco comment.
I'm just trying not to take off into some crazy monologue topics. I had a couple things I had to get taken care of this week.
Well, you
Painted
want to talk
lady,
about
come-
silica?
If you want to talk about silica, go for it. I was talking about like the silica-based life that might exist on Earth. I was referencing some, I don't know if it was something I read, something I saw, some stupid video, probably some piece of fiction. Who knows? They were just talking about silicon life found in the ocean or in a volcano or some crazy place. I don't know. Probably in a volcano. Most likely in a volcano. Life in a volcano. No, let me see here. I got some new mycology bags for medicinals. And let me see here. They were shipped and arrived in like 2 days. It was at Midwest Grow Kits, I think is what I got from. And relatively cheap, man. Like 3-pound, 2 packs of 3-pound grain bags for like $20 or something like that. So you're getting like 6 pounds for like $20. Pre-sterilized grain bags, yada yada. My big surprise was just how fast they came. So this will be my first time using them. We'll see how likely they are to get contaminated, whatever, how sterile they really are, how well they work, how fast they colonize and everything. But yeah, so I got a little mycology project in the works. I need to get my space cleaned out to get all that stuff going. I don't really use like.
Are you gonna try to capture any of the CO2 like from fruiting to try to like vent it to a grow?
Not really. I usually just fruit them in my grow room anyway.
Oh,
But
perfect.
my grow room is it's vented. You know, I have a sealed hood HPS lights, so I'm just venting with those. And you know, obviously the one end is like hooked up to a filter. I've been wanting to like update the room for a long time, but I'm getting rid of the rooms. Like I don't even want to go in those rooms. The only reason I turn them back on is because of that reason. But since it's on, I'm probably gonna flower in it. And when I flower in it, I'm probably gonna fruit whatever I do with the mycology in it. So I'm sure some of the CO2 will remain in there. Now here's the thing: is the vent and all that stuff, the filter and everything, that's up at the ceiling. So that's gonna be sucking air and basically to suck heat out, and all the CO2 is gonna remain down on the ground. So maybe it'll keep some CO2 in the room. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But a lot of air, I mean, you know, it runs off of like the air conditioning and heat, central air conditioning and heat sources the whole house and everything. So it's just right mom's room. We'll see where else. I might just flower some in the window. Might flower some in a couple of different environments. I might run some experiments. But yeah, I mean, putting a myco bag or something in a tent, I mean, is probably the best way to gain some CO2. We're just breathing in there. Sealed rooms hold CO2 so easy. Plants, whatever is going on in your soil, all the microbe life and everything going on.
Yeah, but I mean, you could throw an easy CO2 bag on the corner too. I mean, if you're gonna be growing mushrooms anyway, fuck it, throw a CO2 bag in there. Why not?
Just throw your mushroom bags in the corner.
Yeah. I just put it. Actually, I have 2 big ones from. Shout out to Darren over at D's Bags, and Stabby was talking about them too. But he makes the what does he call them? The mega bags or what? Super. They're really big, and so I mean, I got this mycelium block in there that's easily 2 foot tall, 2 to almost 3 foot tall. It's fucking huge in this bag, and I'm sure it's kicking out. You know, I mean, I can look right now and get, you know, about almost 200 over ambient, just with the CO2 bag sitting. I just have them sitting right behind it. I have my floor fan going, and I just have it sitting behind that, so it sucks CO2 and pushes it through the room.
Yeah, that's a great way to add CO2 to your room.
Has anybody picked up that Pulse Pro yet?
I haven't. I'm saving up for it.
Man, I want to get it too, but
I'd
Yeah,
like
what's
to
the
get
price tag on that?
Holding out for.
It's like
500.
But
I hope that they're still
the-
running the special where they include the other pulse.
Not sure if it still does yet.
But the cool thing about that Pulse is it's also a fucking light meter at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And try looking at the price of one of those that are decent. You can get those stupid cheap ones, but
$300.
yeah. So I mean, you're getting your pulse meter and everything else on top of a light meter too, and it's got a rechargeable battery in it, so you can take it off the plug and walk around with it and actually use it to test light, and it logs all that shit for you. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
It's
I gotta
really
have it.
cool. It actually is a really good deal for for everything it does, but it's just, man, that upfront cost is almost like investing in a whole new light. So you're like, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for
Yeah,
me,
I definitely don't have that for that right now.
I'm consulting with one group. That's it. Because I don't think I consult with a lot of people. I just don't have the time. But one group. But anyhow, I have them pay me through PayPal, and that's, so I'm just letting that pile up. And once I get enough, I'm going to get me a pulse meter.
Nice.
Good idea. It's your piggy bank.
Yeah. I figure that's my, you know, my business account or whatever. I can just buy stuff for the grow.
That is definitely the way to do it. You know, and then before you know it, you got enough money, and now it's moving on. What's my next upgrade, or you know, what do I need to address?
Ounce saved is an ounce earned.
That's a good way to look at it. You know, every mistake you make, you're just basically costing yourself your end product, either in quality or quantity. So every shortcut you take, you know what I mean? Everything that you're ignorant about, just like me. So always got to keep learning.
There's so much to learn. I talk about that with people all the time. Always learning stuff. Not just with growing, just cannabis in general. So many things. Information necessarily changes, but like when cannabis information changes, like processes all of a sudden start to change. You know, things constantly evolving.
So High and Tight's asking in the chat what happened to Skillbo, and it's his internet is not the greatest connection, so he's got his.
I got to kill my camera instead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, somebody in the chat, Blue Kiss Garden's asking me, do any of you have an ultrasonic cleaner for your glass? I've never heard of that. I don't have
Something like you would use for jewelry.
I don't
That'd
know.
be sweet.
I was thinking what glass, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming glass pipes and bowls and things like that. Sounds cool.
What you really need is the Pipe Washer 3000. The Pipe Washer 3000 is a Skillbo creation. It's called take an old ass cup that is bigger than your fucking piece of glass. Put your piece of glass in there and then put some fucking alcohol in there, some salt, and shake the fuck out of it. And if it didn't all come out, leave it alone and let it soak for a few days. That's why you buy more than one piece of glass. Pipe Washer 3000. Get yours at the next Goodwill store for 99 cents. Maybe if you get lucky like me, you can hit the show account for 50 cents. Just pay tax on it. But I still haven't had my $1.58 yet, so we'll see how that actually goes.
If you really want to go well, use some like high
washer,
proof
3000.
grain alcohol or 99 proof ISO. I like using grain alcohol. But
Abolished. I hope you got that. I see you in chat. I hope you got that abolished because wow.
What's that?
When you hear that whole thing back, Skilbo, you'll be.
Is it chopped up? Is it terrible?
No, not chopped up at all. I heard every fucking word you said.
it's most
Pipe washer 3000.
Mr.
Available.
Pipe Washer.
Mr. Pipe Washer 3000 over here. You keep cleaning those pipes, Scobo.
That's right. Attention to detail, sir.
Give it a good polish.
You don't want to put anything dirty by your mouth. Come on.
No.
This is taking a turn, man. It just is cleaning
Sorry about
pipes
that,
and
Peony Lady.
put
Welcome
dirty
to Late
stuff
Sesh.
by your mouth.
So, some other sourcing aside from the micro blocks I had to get into was the vegetable garden. I mean, they're experiencing backups. Not saying my internet connection's unstable. Am I fuzzing out over here? Maybe.
Not yet.
Oh,
Okay, cool. The I went through seed sourcing. So I go through Baker Seeds, and well, I don't know. I'm just trying out Baker Seeds this year, so I'm gonna probably try out some other place next year, and we'll see. But for the current spot, I got a whole bunch of different heirlooms. Yeah, some tomatoes. Actually, what I'm really going for as far as cover crop goes this year is like radish and carrot. So I'm tossing a bunch of different heirloom radish and carrots out there. Things in like the real high anthocyanin category, so real deep purple, not just on the skin but on the inside, like things that I can juice, add into a just kind of like a more like a living food type of a diet.
Do radishes actually break up clay? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going at with that is they're gonna dig down deep. The radishes, some radishes kind of grow on top of the soil. Some will dig down a little bit. Daikons will get like huge and they'll dig in deep. There's a few different types of like daikon style radishes that'll get huge. There's giant Japanese radishes that'll get massive and they'll grow like huge kale type leaves. The entire plant's edible. So what I really like about a radish is letting it bolt. It flowers, it attracts pollinators, and then it grows these little seed pods. The seed pods, I think you get more of a bounty, I suppose, like off of an abundance of seed pods that the plant produces because they're good, they're delicious, they taste just like radish. They have that little bit of a spice to it, almost like a little horseradish, and it's almost like eating a bean. It has that type of a sweetness to it, a crisp snap to it, almost like a sugar snap bean or something, but they're kind of small, only about an inch, couple inches tall. I've had them, with like 4 or 8 different sections, almost like sections of about, a dozen little tiny bead size. They're real tiny, half a millimeter, in diameter, little sphere style seeds, each pod holds dozens of them.
Peony Lady, do you do any kind of vegetable gardening outdoors?
When they're super immature. Yeah, go ahead, Peony Lady.
yeah, actually, I picked up some Baker Seeds too, Red. Last year at my girl store, my local girl store has like a little section for vegetables and stuff and flowers. And so I picked up a bunch of Baker and I picked up some purple carrots for this year. And last year I grew some Chioggia beets, which are the candy cane beets, and they turned out really good, really good. And so yeah, this year I plan on planting some more. I picked up some purple beans. I think there was some sort of Japanese pole bean, I think, and
pole beans.
Yeah, those are really good. So those, like, pick them when they're young because they get really fibrous really fast, and they're probably really good like canning beans. They're probably really good for baking beans also. It might also depend on the color of the bean itself. If it's Baker Creek, you might actually get like solid purple beans on the inside. Sometimes the beans on the inside are white.
And with that, it's hash time.
Solid hash time. I thought that was a smoke alarm getting ready to set off for a second. But
you got some PTSD jumping off. Looking for exits and shit.
I don't know what it was.
Actually, I think I have them with my seeds, like my cannabis seeds. I'm gonna go grab them. I'll show you guys.
Yeah, bust them up. Seed time. Yeah, I ended up getting a few different varieties of corn. There was this really high mineral. I think it was like carotene. I think it had carotene or something like that. High carotene corn. It was like a red corn.
You didn't have corn last year, did you?
I had unsuccessful corn. I had a handful of like corns grow, and the reason it was unsuccessful is because I not only started them indoors, which I think I'm still going to try to do some corn indoors. Start them somewhat early. Not really so much early, but just kind of keep them away from some of the elements when I get them going. But I might also try to sprout some outside. It's probably better to sprout them in place. They don't really take transplanting well. In that, I try to transplant very delicately, so I'm thinking I can do it as long as I don't do it the way I did last year. Like 2 or 4 pieces of corn in the same, like, probably 1.5 or 2-inch seed cell, so I was breaking them apart and like destroying the root zone as they were babies. And I guess that's something that corn just really doesn't like. I'm used to like fucking with peppers and tomatoes that they'll grow. Like you can take a dozen tomatoes and tear them all apart and plant them all in different, like little baby pups, and plant them all in different pots and they'll grow just fine. Not corn, not carrots. You don't even want to start carrots indoors. You don't even want to fuck with them like that. You just want to start carrots and radishes. Go ahead.
Oh shit! Look at those purple beans.
Generally, most of your root vegetables.
There's my pole beans.
Very nice. Oh yeah, I love those.
I've seen those before.
That's what I really love. I try to do as much purple.
Are you gonna trellis those up, or how are you doing them?
Yeah, I planned on it. I don't know where I'm gonna put them yet, but of course, purple's my favorite color, so that attracted me to them immediately.
If you're growing corn or sunflowers, trellis them up your corn. Use your corn or sunflowers as that.
Oh hell yeah!
There you go. Yeah, so you could actually
the Mexican sunflower.
Yeah, look into some different co-planting. Those
are sweet
because those go very well together. And then actually growing squash. Oh, there you go. Which ones are those? Is that Baker Creek? Because I might have that same one coming. Cool. I have those same ones coming. I went ahead and got myself a couple.
Did you see what it said? Overpacked due to low germination.
Yeah, it was that interesting. So we'll see what happens with these. But
I hope I get on that same batch. That'd be cool.
I got some.
I'll take an overpack pack.
Gold beets.
Gold beets, cool. I got some Detroit purples. We'll have to swap.
And then here's the candy cane ones that I grew last year that were really cool.
Oh, very cool. So you had like good germination and everything from the
really good.
Really good to hear. Okay, awesome.
And these are my tomato green zebras that I grew last year from Baker. Those were really cool.
So you could get those on their website if they have one?
Yeah, I think so.
Baker Creek has a website.
The basil.
Their catalog is fucking huge.
Make me do some work, aren't you, Scoba?
Here, I better make you co-host so you can do the heavy lifting for me.
Co-host? I need to be co-host to do heavy lifting.
Oh, you're already co-host. I already got you. Sequence set us up to succeed before he slipped out like a thief in the night.
Make sure all tabs with things like phone numbers and addresses are all closed. And
Red Rocket's little black book.
Yeah, the little black book stuff.
I just want to say cheers to everybody out there. We got 140 people chilling with us. I hope that you're enjoying the show. If you have any questions for us, drop them in the chat. Otherwise, don't forget to drop a like or even a dislike, as my disembodied voice speaks on.
To bring back my Internet Explorer. Oh, I did.
Stabby said he made a roast with some purple carrots and it turned the roast black.
Ooh,
crazy.
Yummy.
Those carrots were fucking crazy, though. I've never seen those before.
I would still eat them. They're probably good.
Yeah, I'm definitely in for like juicing those purple carrots. I got a red variety also, but I'm more
Red. When you talk about juicing, give me a simple, like a red setter fucking recipe for juicing. What are you doing? Because Painted Lady came on, she wanted to talk about healthy foods and all this crazy shit. So I'm gonna try to steer you to that.
The juice I'll like add to, I mean, I don't know.
I got you, Painted Lady.
My own raw juices. I don't know about that, but like I'll be adding it to things like like smoothies and just shakes and stuff like that. Vegetable soup, stuff like that. Adding a good carrot, tomato base to any kind of stew or soup. So for me, it's like feeding your plants minerals. Feeding ourselves minerals, put them in our body basically to sustain life to grow cell tissue, bone strength, skin strength, organ strength, right? A lot of it also has to do with aging, anti-aging, eating living organisms, so to speak, eating like things that aren't really cooked, hold and retain and contain a lot of their minerals, a lot of their nutrition. Most importantly, it's the minerals. So properly grown, like obviously, we're kind of lacking in our commercial, in some of our commercial like agriculture systems, hydroponics, stuff like that. We only get handfuls of these minerals that we kind of require, or we get our minerals, but we're not getting enough of them. Like what is dense as they should be inside of, like, let's say a cucumber. Eat a cucumber, you're only getting like maybe a quarter or a third of the amount of minerals you should be getting if it were grown correctly. And like the
Painted
way we
lady's
grow
cat's killing me.
cannabis, painted lady's cat's showing off.
Pay attention to me. Don't ignore me.
But yeah, so like the growing your own food can be important because you can kind of control some of that stuff. What exactly like cannabis, what's in your soil.
Well, what if I have shitbag soil? Could I make like a raised bed and just get it done that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're growing the same. You're doing the same thing. You're growing plants. That.
Dude, I reused my 7-gallon pots from last year that I had, like the Pro Mix, and I, had amended them. I turned around and planted my tomatoes in them last year. Put the big tomato cages on them, dude. They were fantastic last year, and I had really good luck with green peppers too.
Yeah, because you had a second or third or fourth generation, well-established ecosystem.
I let it all go to seed at the end. I took what I was going to take. I'm figuring, man, the soil's just going to be better and better.
If you want a container garden, that's a good way to do it. If you have a small backyard, or if you have a limited space, a balcony or something, but you have a grow room or a tent, it's a good way to do it. Toss your pot.
What's the easiest thing for somebody to try, Red? Like, what's the easiest thing?
To grow?
What would you recommend? Yeah.
A bean plant, a
Let's
pepper
say a
plant.
fucking zucchini plant. Holy
zucchini,
shit.
Yeah, I think Jordan's right.
If you have the space, a zucchini plant, it's going to get big.
Squash.
Or zucchini or cucumber. Fucking cucumbers. You grow in straight water.
Going to take up some space. Grow those fuckers. Bush beans are like, you could almost grow them as a cover crop.
Grow that beautiful bean footage. Bush beans.
I grow all that shit. I like bush beans, onions. I grow zinnias through my cannabis. Skills over there.
I got no video, so I just got to vamp it up, baby.
Peanut gallery. He's shouting from the balcony.
Shout from the balcony, man.
Shouting from the balcony up here.
I save seeds too, like the green peppers. My green peppers did really well last year, so anything that does really good, I save those fucking seeds for the next year.
Yeah, that's definitely my plan with what I spent this year is to, I really, I'm always sourcing from other suppliers that aren't necessarily like maybe GMO free or aren't necessarily organically grown or stuff like that. So I never really want to mess with saving seed. I never really want to mess with trying to, keep my own seed or sell anybody else's seed for that matter. So
what's a good catalog that I could get, that I could go to look and buy a lot of seeds?
Dude, I've been sitting here messing around. I didn't even pull chat back up.
The best is just to go to a fucking local farm and nursery or something.
Where are we at
just
here?
Something that they grew in your local environment, and then it's already ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. How do I share my screen, Scobo?
I know around by me, G's Farm is where I'd go. I'd drive out to Stockbridge to G's Farm and get all the starts and stuff.
Red Rocket has started sharing screen.
Am I sharing a screen here? There's some stuff around. Yeah. So like,
look at those mandarin oranges. They look weird.
I might have. I know. And I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, man, I want to get more seed. Atomic orange. This is probably either an ornamental corn or a grain style corn. Oh no, dig it. High in beta carotene. Is this the atomic orange that came back in stock? All right, I'm gonna have to.
That is really cool.
High in beta carotene, amazingly nutritious. Blah blah blah. Availability in stock. This is one that. So apparently their stock is changing all the time. This wasn't in stock just a couple of days ago, which is awesome. That's cool. I need to get myself down on one of these. So hopefully
John
I'm
Doe
not
says,
signed in with my name or anything right now. I do have cookies all applied and all that bullshit.
says, don't let cannabis growers see how cheap boutique veggie seeds are. No shit, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, okay, let's go to we can go to their shop, Heirloom Seeds. See how slow my
I
connection
think
is.
it's
with all
cool
this
too
going
to
on.
find something that's there's not a lot of them out there, I guess, but that are perennial. You know,
Let's go
like
with the amaranth.
asparagus is pretty much perennial. I mean, it stays around for 10, 15 years, and it's
So
something you
they
can eat.
definitely have some of that. See,
I've never tried
the
growing
thing
that
about
before.
asparagus is you really, if you try growing it from seed, you're gonna be at least
Plant it
a
with
couple
your
years in before you
strawberries.
get one.
Plant
Yeah,
with
it's
your
really good to get
strawberries. They'll
asparagus.
pop up first, and your strawberries will be underneath it.
It's good to get asparagus as rooted, like pups. You know, you get like little root sections. They're already sprouted out. They're already like pre-asparagus. The first year they kind of suck. The next couple years they should just get better with age.
What is
And
that
then-
thing that says new items? It looks kind of like purple weed.
Where are you at over here?
The very first one, top. Go back to the
New
top.
items.
Yeah,
New
look
item.
at. Doesn't
Oh,
that look
well,
kind of like
it's-
purple weed a little bit?
It does kind of look like purple weed. So I got quinoa. Quinoa totally looks like a purple weed. If you've ever seen like a quinoa flower growing.
I like the guy in the upper right
I
hand
think
corner.
I got these zebra beans. I got a couple different type of
Those are
Yes,
really
it-
cool too.
the zebra beans out
Yeah.
of stock. Maybe I didn't get them, or maybe I got one. Hopefully they're processing my order with them. I don't know. Black peony poppies. Check those bad boys out. They are
Peonies?
somniferum. Look at that. They are
What
a
does that mean,
somniferum
Red?
poppy.
What's
They
that
may
mean?
or may not contain
Opiates.
not mescaline. What would it be? Opium. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Morphine. May or may not contain morphine and codeine.
It's a hell of a
I think
crapshoot.
I'm not sure if those are the alkaloids or not, but I think they are. Black trumpet. Oh, check out these bad boys. They do carry blue morning glories, but they were out of them. I did want to source a new fresh stock of those. Chinese string. I can't.
Why
I
the
can
fuck
never
would you
get
want
them
narrow
to-
leaf lettuce? They had narrow leaf lettuce. Why would you want that?
They have a bunch
Bougie.
of different types of nice
Bougie.
bougie lettuce.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about? This one right here. This.
Yeah, look at that shit. Why would you want to even eat that?
Martin, you can charge $5 more for that salad in a restaurant just because it's got bougie lettuce in it.
Possibly. It may be very.
Just go out-
Red
just
didn't
go-
even flinch.
Go to the fucking
go to
backyard and grab some
Let's go
fucking
to it.
dandelion.
Dandelion greens.
It's a
Yeah, dude.
romaine.
Fuck.
It's a romaine. It kind of looks like a weed. You could probably cover crop your area with it. So I'm trying to do some lettuce
Oh,
area.
it's bolt resistant. That's why.
Bolt resistant.
Okay.
There you go.
So it's not going to spread.
Well,
It's only
no,
$3
so you can grow it
Okay.
in warmer
Should have seen how
weather.
many seeds.
Usually, I show a bolt on you as soon as it gets even remotely warm.
Oh, look at this.
And then
Look
that's
at this
not good.
Crespo squash. Either this is a really
That's
small
creepy.
child, or those are really big squashes.
What do you
They
even
look
do
like-
with that?
I don't
One of those
know.
ornamental
Those-
bullshit things.
Yeah, I mean, they would make a really cool decorative, like carved
Gourd.
pumpkin, though. Yeah, think about carving those things. That'd be really cool.
There was a
Peony
good question
poppies?
in the chat.
Some
Since
of
we're
them
doing
also,
this,
so I don't know.
Is are there dangerous combos of gardening indoors with tents and cannabis vegetables? Certain things that aren't meant to be or hurt cannabis production quality.
Well, I'm thinking that you're going to get some. You might get some attracting of pests with some. It's all going to depend on what you got going on, how well your IPM is.
Okay.
I
They
think
have a
you better
ladybird
keep
poppy. Look at that.
them separated.
You got to keep them separated.
Yeah.
Old school.
Long
But,
leaf
don't-
sinker.
come on.
It's not
Ain't lady.
that old, is it? Well, I guess it is now.
There's
It's
a really
old.
cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like
Okay.
20. That was from
Chapter
1994,
hashtag,
I think.
right,
If we're
guys?
not being too particular on something,
So
That's-
here,
you know, it was only was it
Yeah.
27 years ago? Come on, jeez,
rock.
fucking current.
Some of the people in
Like
chat
this
probably
guy.
weren't even alive yet.
That was
So
in high school.
This Italian broccoli right here grows in a perfect Fibonacci. Now that we'll get back to it.
Yeah, that was like
So there's
That
a
is
divine,
awesome.
there's a divine ratio basically
almost looks like a
in
cauliflower.
nature, and it's the phi ratio, PFI, pi ratio. I don't know, phi. Somebody correct me, please, in chat. Make me look like a fool. Anyways, this broccoli right here orchestrates it almost perfectly in structure. Every one of the points that come out have a Fibonacci that come through. Now something like phi is Fibonacci, but Fibonacci is not phi. So like phi is the ratio of the spiral. Fibonacci seems to be the spiral itself, or there's a certain
the golden mean. Is that what you're talking about? Golden ratio, golden mean.
It is the golden ratio. Yeah, it is like Virtuvian man. Okay, there is a ratio in our fingers that through our entire bodies. It's way too deep for me to really.
But it's not too deep for the late sesh, though.
Clever. Okay, well,
we're right here, man.
There's okay, so like all these ratios, whatever the ratio is, it's within the distance from this fingertip to this, or from, and the length of the tip of the finger bone, and the length of the middle of the finger bone, and the length of the third finger bone are in the same ratio as the second finger, the third finger, and the fourth finger, and they're in this phi ratio. Okay, and I'm not sure exactly what the number system of the ratio is.
But what if you have a monkey toe?
Put through, and what did you just say?
What if you have a monkey toe? Is the monkey toe in like the same ratio as like the pinky toe? If you have like the big monkey toe, the one that points out.
I don't think that this accounts for. I don't think this accounts for like natural.
Okay.
Deformations or like mutations, manipulations of genetic or whatever. But so like that's why like I think that this brassica here specifically is so kind of maybe unique, because I'm sure that there's some offset ones you're going to get funky growing ones, but like for the most part it grows like this. Like you're going to get like this beautiful structured.
Red, is that like a Mandelbrot?
Dude, I don't know what these words that you're using.
I think it's a Mandelbrot, man.
What is a Mandelbrot, man?
Fuck.
Should I know what a Mandelbrot is? I'm not sure.
I don't know any of that shit, but I do know that broccoli, when it grows, you can eat the leaves and it tastes like broccoli. You can eat just pretty much.
This is a broccoli. This is a brass. It's the same deal. So you could eat the leaves.
I'm just saying, even the regular broccoli plant, when you harvest it, people just harvest the head, but you can fucking eat all that shit and it tastes all like broccoli.
So all of that fancy lettuce and all that stuff, the best part about it is even if it doesn't, it's not like the best in a salad or anything like that, toss it in a pan, you fry it up, and you just stew your greens. And it kind of adds a little bit of substance, but it adds more of like a mineral base. You're getting a ton of antioxidants and just all kinds of substance from leafy greens. They're great for you. You're getting a lot of chlorophyll. You're getting all kinds of different I'm having a loss for words, but anyways, you're getting beneficial
bacteria and everything.
Vitamin D.
Oh, well, yeah, you are getting
vitamin
definitely
D
getting
and
all that
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, greens just have a source with vitamins and minerals. So the best way to but the problem is you have to eat a ton of them, and you can't just like mow on a ton of like raw greens and eat a bunch of salads. Really difficult. It's a lot easier just to kind of like cook them up, and like they almost cook down to nothing. And if you do it right and you cook at a low enough temperature, you really sustain, and you keep a lot of the minerals, you keep a lot of the vitamins intact. You don't burn them off. I like to keep everything kind of below 180 degrees. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to cook because you're using a lower temperature, but at the same time, you're retaining most like beneficial alkaloid. You don't really burn off beneficial alkaloids below those. And by beneficial alkaloids, I mean even vitamins and minerals, anything that's like affecting our health and things like that. So I keep it kind of below that temperature. I do that with like soups. I try like low boil, low simmer soups and stews. Takes a little bit longer. Cook a potato, stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's really difficult. I still cook a potato like a good solid 300 degrees, but there's kind of a polarity to everything with cooking. But still, like I try my best, especially with mushrooms and things like that. I definitely don't want to burn off the beneficials that are involved with that. Or there's bacteria, beneficial organisms. Talk about including a lot of that, like what with probiotics or with kombucha and things like that. Because just like what Tribus does, or what Mammoth P does in our root zone, and helps. I'm just sitting on this broccoli. I'm gonna get off the.
People are still enjoying looking at it though, bro. They're kind of tripping to it. Yeah,
You're just tripping to this like giant brassica right here. Here, let's
zoom it in, man.
Yeah, here. This will just be the late sesh for the rest of the night.
It reminded me of an orc.
It's very unique looking. I really hope that it grows well. I'm into like stewing leaves and like cooking leaves all the time. You chop up some garlic, chop up some onions, some mushrooms, and you add it to it. You get yourself some peppers, toss some cheese on it, whatever. You make yourself a really nice either a side dish or that's like sometimes my whole dinner because I'll just include so many vegetables into it. And what I'll do is I'll cook up a bunch of vegetables. I'll do this sometimes and just for breakfast too, a bunch of vegetables, right? You let them cook, let them just kind of get, sometimes some vegetables need to cook a little bit longer, right? If you're using carrots or something. In this scenario, I'm not using carrots. Let's say we got some onions and peppers and some mushrooms, right? And then you cook them up and then you toss like a couple big handfuls of just mixed greens, whatever, arugula, all kinds of shit. If there's some cabbage in there, whatever, it all goes in and it just kind of stews up and it mixes down. And then I crack a couple eggs on it and I mix up the eggs and then I pour the mixed egg over top and I make myself an omelet out of that. I try to cook everything down a little bit before I do that, but that's my usual like protein, like egg, something like that, and try to keep like a light protein. Nothing wrong with beef, fish. I eat fish, I eat beef, stuff like that, just in moderation, just because beef and chicken give me headaches. But that's the only reason I eat so much like vegetables and fruits. It's just because.
What do you use for an oil when you're cooking this down? Are you using butter? Are you using
a lot of times,
olive oil?
a lot of times I use coconut oil. I use coconut oil because coconut oil does a couple different things. It also like helps like deliver food to your
the MCT.
Helps you metabolize, faster. Especially when you're using like good mineral dense foods and things like that. Now, when you juice, when you are juicing, back to that question, you're basically taking all of the uncooked mineral dense process and not only are you taking all these minerals and putting them into like a concentrated form like a juice that you're able to extract and then drink, but your body's not taking the time to process the fibers of the plant. Okay, so you actually absorb the minerals and the nutrition faster, more efficiently, more effectively than if you were to just like take a bite and do an apple or something. That's why when I bite an apple, I try to make sure that I actually like keep it in my mouth, sustain, chew it up as much as possible, things like that, and really like get all the juice out of it first, and then eat the rest of the apple, the fibers or whatever, kind of go through. Same with a lot of types of food. It's really just best to chew your food very well. That's really why we have teeth, and chew your food really well and get a lot of that stuff down.
I have a side funny story with you mentioning chewing your food really well. When I was growing up, my grandma we would eat dinner and everybody would finish like hours before she would. And one day I finally was like, what is she doing when she eats? Why does it take her so long? And it doesn't ever look like she eats anything. And I finally watched her when she was eating and she chewed every single bite 40 times. I counted. And that fucking woman lived to be almost 101. And
no kidding.
And she had every night, she called it her attitude adjustment, and it was a Jack and Coke. So doing your food, Red. So there's something to be said for it. She chewed her fucking food and she had a Jack and Coke every night.
Guys, I've been sitting here. Sorry, Peony, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're high and looking
at
at the
will
picture
most
too.
Definitely keep you up to about 100 years old. I mean, there's all kinds of like awesome little tips and tricks, and obviously they work, you know what I mean? Just like I think a lot of like living long has a lot to do with mindset. I think a lot of people that started their life a long time ago got a chance to experience a younger life prior to not just industrialization of agriculture, but prior to like a lot of the poor tactics of the reasons why agriculture is the way it is. I think that there was a lot more better ethics involved, farming practicing and things like that. When a lot of our grandparents and people like that were younger, they got a chance to actually experience some healthy soils. For example, they weren't totally depleted when they were getting their food. By the time that we were left to get our commercially viable like peppers and carrots and things, they're no longer mineral dense. They're losing a lot of things. We suffer from tooth decay. We have to fluoride our water supposedly for these reasons. So, the other top, I'm not gonna get into that stuff, but like that's all like reasons for mineral dense food. That's all reasons for like maybe just support your local farmer or your local like just your backyard, just like or your balcony and have, and it's always just feels good to have some green around, just a little extra. You can talk about beneficials. Herb gardens are great because they're gonna repel pests. You might even repel mosquitoes. You might bring in things like butterflies, and you might bring in dragonflies and some of these other beneficials that might eat mosquitoes, that might eat pests, bees, wasps, stuff like that. They're not gonna sting you if you keep nests away from your and keep yourself away from their nests, you know. So like keep their nests away from maybe your living quarters or your moving quarters. You know, some bee nests I don't mess with. They're out of like the way. If I'm not typically always, I don't have kids, so that's another reason. But like you know, if I'm not venturing into that area often, I'll let the bees nest stay. Those are pollinators I have in my space. I don't mind them. So I'm not one that's always spraying stuff, because in my opinion, if I spray a hive or do something like that, there's a good chance that I could not only destroy my hive, but other hives. There's a good chance that it's just bad. You know, it's bad practice to use chemicals. So why not fight nature with nature, or, you know, try to at least balance nature? And I like doing that with co-planting. So in my permaculture garden, what I also like, so there's some practice like the Three Sisters. There's a real common practice. I don't know if what Indian group, a Native American group it was like the Cherokee or maybe a different one, but there was a very common practice with them where they would plant corn and they would plant beans and they would plant squash all together, and they would grow well. Basically the beans would trellis with the corn, the squash would grow beneath, and it actually was really nice using the corn canopy and the bean canopy provided a little bit of shade, so it grew really well. And then the greens and the beans fixated the nitrogen, and the corn did something different, and everything really just is very harmonious, right? And then so I did some research into that, and that's what kind of why I grow in this sort of technique, because I also read that sunflowers in turn do really well in almost like a Four Sisters technique. And then I read somewhere that hemp at one time was also used to turn the soil as a third crop. So what they would do is they would actually go hemp, or they would go corn, beans, hemp, and they would do like a 3-year cycle, or it'd be like 2 corn, 1 bean, 2 hemp, or something like that. And that's how they would turn their cycles in the beginning. And then they would use the hemp to actually turn into their soil. So they would harvest some of it, and then they take the rest of it and they turn it into their soil. So it was added back in as minerals, and probably using the hemp and root system as a mineral uptake device, and then a recirculation into the top of the soil for maybe like short root system type plants to grow, right? Thinks about things like that. So real interesting techniques. So I started using all of those kind of ideas and saying, well, maybe I'll call this like the 5 sisters, you know, 5 witches technique, you know, where you have sunflowers, cannabis, and then beans, squash, corn, all kind of growing interconnectedly. Now there's all this other co-planting. Now you have all this stuff is kind of up top, right? And the squashes, things are down, but you could have herbs, all kinds of herbs and things just creeping on the ground. Thyme, strawberries will do well anywhere. They're just going to explode everywhere. Corn, I'm going to try to see corn everywhere. So hopefully I'll have some just corn sprouted, and those are in the roots. That's a root crop. Have a root crop below. And just, if you're in the ground, you have a ton of mineral. You obviously can't do this kind of stuff in pots. You're limited with minerals in pots. You're depleting minerals in pots. You have to constantly add minerals in pots. But the ground, if you're in clay and silt and all that stuff, there's so many minerals. You just need to have the right type of bacteria and life forms in there feeding and moving those minerals into biologically available plant uptake, right? And so that's where we get biologically available in humans. And so that's why like chewing your food and then juicing your food, or even making soups. So making a soup is a great way of just getting all of your corn, all the nutrition into your body. You know, that's why I really enjoy soups.
And now we've come all the way back to soups again, and bone broth, and soups, and Hector, and we've circled the wagons
it's
here.
It's bioavailable, raw bioavailable nutrition when you have like a broth or a soup or a stew or something like that, you know, in your bone pipe, your shin bone. When you stewed up that shin bone, it all became real bioavailable.
We let her simmer for a while first, yeah.
So I mean, I use calcium, and I'll toss that stuff out. Or Spartan talking about earlier, the calcium oyster shell.
Calcium carbonate.
Calcium
that one?
carbonate, yeah, thank you. That's the main source. But what I've also learned was that the sunflowers will also move calcium. They're high calcium uptakers. So I'm making up words now, but they
Uptakers.
So do,
accumulators. Go
so
ahead,
are your
Spartan.
dandelions. You know, all your plants that have like a single root or just the one main root that you think are weeds. Those are the ones that are mining nutrients. Those are the ones that, like dandelion, for example, is
I want to do a dandelion
super.
FPJ.
Man, I got dandelion jelly still in my refrigerator. I love that shit. And
I've
it's
never
just
tried
full
that
of,
before.
full of minerals. I
Okay.
mean, it's a pain in the ass. It's an deal. But yeah, I mean, here we are, and you know, it's from last
Trial by
summer.
dandelion jelly. That's trial.
I've got a mason jar. It's probably about that full still. It'll last me till
I think they sell
summertime.
dandelion seeds on Baker Creek's website. Doesn't matter.
Who the
I
fuck
don't
is
know.
ever gonna buy a goddamn dandelion scene, Red? Fuck, they're
Dude,
free.
I don't know, man. They're everywhere.
Right?
They are, aren't they? Go to your neighbor's house at the right peak of season.
Ah,
Dude, I got them
shit.
out of my backyard.
I do too. Come and grab some. I'll uproot them for you. Last year I collected heads and some leaf, but I mostly made a FPJ out of dandelion head. I used some of it in inoculate. You know, I don't do teas. I kind of just do extracts. You know, so I just used a little bit in some of that inoculate and dumped it out there. Kind of put it all over my garden.
But just to kind of sum up what Red was going over, paying ladies, some easy things you can do, and what I do myself is like when it's summertime, I just go out and grab what's ready to be harvested, and I chop that up and throw it into a soup. And I mean, it doesn't even have to cook very long. I like it to still be kind of fresh and crunchy, and it's fucking amazing. And I just throw a can, just throw some fucking chicken or something in there. Well, not Red, but everybody else throw some fucking chicken in there, and it's fucking amazing good.
Dinner's ready.
And you know that soup that I put on my Instagram last night. It may or may not still be in my story.
I saw it. Yeah, it looked good.
That doesn't even take an hour. I looked to like in that. I don't even. I temp checked it. It was like 180, 190 degrees, less than 200 degrees for less than an hour, and I had myself a nice soup. And it was like, I don't know, 16, 18. It was the size of a big bowl of soup. You know, a small little pot of soup.
Make sure you add some mushrooms to your soup when you make those. Those are something good to get into your diet. You can definitely add them in there.
Oh, what I've been doing is the powder. That powder makes at the end you cut the heat off, you let it start to cool off a little bit, then you just put in like a couple scoops of that mushroom powder and you stir it up, and it just gives it that fucking earthy, awesome.
Dude, I have some umami for that. Yeah.
Umami, yeah, whatever the fuck that is.
I had
whatever the fuck that shit is.
Shiitake. Still have a little shiitake left, but I had a solid amount of shiitake. Add to that, and that's kind of like gives me a nice substance, you know, something kind of almost like a meat, right? The mushroom is kind of like a meat. I've always really enjoyed shiitake and like miso soup and stuff like that. It's really, really good. So like I really enjoy the texture of it, even though it's kind of a little slimy, but I don't mind it. You know, it's got a real nice taste to it. So
meaty.
Yeah, very, very meaty. And then so that I add that to it, but yeah, the powder, that's all for just nutrition. I mean, I'm really focused on more or less of the nutrition of it than like the flavor. I'll toss a couple like bouillon cubes in there, but I'll limit myself on heavy salt, especially white salt. White salt's usually and I try to include like the pink Himalayan salt because that has a lot more minerals in it.
Yeah,
and all of those minerals. Yeah. And you know, if you just include a little bit, it's a slightly more expensive. Yeah, people might think it's bougie or something.
A long time,
you know what? It lasts a long time, man. Especially if you get your own grinder and just crack it out yourself. It lasts a really long time, and you're loading yourself up with all those minerals. So I'll put a little bit of salt in my eggs. I'll put it in just about everything. I'll put it in my salad because if you don't include all those additional salts and minerals, that can also be a problem. Your body really needs that. It needs all those extra sources. You shouldn't really drink like straight RO water, you know, for a certain reason. Like you really need the magnesium and calcium and stuff that's typically in water. I don't know what type of water it would be in if it's like groundwater or wherever we would normally source our water, but it's
like spring water or well water. It's going to have some minerals in it.
Remineralize your water, you want to give it some sort of an EC. Your body wants to uptake not just the H2O behind it, but
Well water
stuff.
soup.
In H2O. So back into another thing, and I would really want to get into co-planting again also, so figure that back out too, because there's some really good aside from the 5 sisters, but like H2O, we drink tons of water, so like we're always putting oxygen in our bodies. Oxygen is like the number one solvent. Oxygen is like the number one destroyer. Antioxidants are really important, so that's for like the purple anthocyanins. I really love purple cannabis for that reason. I like just using it for like the leaves, and also like juicing purple cannabis leaves and stuff like that. Some cannabis will bleed purple, will wash purple, and you will actually wash out those anthocyanins. I'm going to say this word way too many times. I'm going to destroy it. And then
I'm good at it though.
You get those antioxidants. They're anti-aging. You're relieving, you're fixing your damaged cells, basically. You're repairing with antioxidants. It's good for you. So they're really heavy in purple, red colored fruits and vegetables. Anthocyanins are just really high in them. So is chlorophyll and plant base in general. So it's good to put all that stuff in your body. But yeah, basically back to the garden. I mean, like the 5 sisters you have growing, right? And so like if you want aphids and stuff like that to be repelled, it's really good technique to grow your brassicas, broccoli, like that whole that beautiful Fibonacci broccoli. Grow that far and maybe a separate area of the garden, because your broccoli is probably going to attract some aphids, so it'll act as like a banker plant. And then you can even use onions as a co-plant with broccoli, because you can use cabbage. I like to put all my brassicas, anything in the brassica family, kale, cabbage, chard, some of that stuff, all that stuff all goes in the other side of the garden. It'll keep all the aphids and all that stuff away from the cannabis. And at the same time, if you plant onions and things like that over there, you'll repel your cabbage moths and you'll repel some aphids even. So you might even do like a whole back and forth thing with the aphids, and you might just keep them out of your yard altogether. They might just be like, I don't even know where to go. So I like to put rosemary and things like that around my cannabis. Rosemary likes to repel. Spartan, go ahead with the herbs, man. I know you really.
How tall does that get?
What is that? Rosemary?
Rosemary,
it's probably as tall as you want it, but right now my rosemary is like 18 to 20 inches. I just propagated it a couple weeks ago. It was the ground was frozen. I went and propagated it.
My rosemary is probably it's probably about 18 inches tall. It's not very super big. You can cut them down. I mean, you can keep them trimmed up. I love just going past my little herb garden and I'll be mowing the grass or I'll be working out there. Just snap off a piece of something and chew on it. I just love doing that. So I have rosemary, thyme, sage, dill, echinacea or coneflower, and I think that's it in my herb garden. I don't know. There's probably some more things, but no, I mean that one's cool because it's all perennial stuff. That's something I just pick something, plant it, and it's going to come back year after year, and I don't have to mess with it. If it doesn't come back, I'll find something else to stick in there, and that's kind of how I do my herb garden.
Oh,
man, fresh dill though. Dude,
I fucking love that.
Oh, dill's a great beneficial attractor. Also, that's a good one to have, because if you get, especially if you get
those coneflowers. Oh my god,
dude! While we're talking about dill,
coneflowers, man, you might be thinking echinacea, which has a second, excellent use, and that is you should brew that into a tea and collect those coneflowers and use them for antivirals and great medicine. That stuff I think might even be a good lung.
It's a immune. It's just a total immune system booster. Yeah,
it's an immune booster. Yeah, echinacea is a great for that. So I actually back to Baker Creek, I ordered like 2 or 3 different varieties of echinacea just for that reason. Try to make myself some tea.
I forgot basil of all things. I forgot basil. Yeah, I also had basil in my herb garden.
I want to go back to the dill for a minute.
Basil's a good one to go with tomatoes.
No, I want to go back to the dill too, Scopo.
Basil makes your tomatoes taste fucking way better.
It makes a great tomato basil soup too. Awesome. If you are growing fresh dill, let me change your game up for you. If you make chicken noodle soup, chicken soup of any kind like that, Take some fresh dill and put it in there, and it tastes just like
I
Mrs.
put
Grass.
dill in everything. I put dill in my eggs. I put dill in almost everything. Well, I put a lot of.
I missed what you said,
rosemary,
Scobo. Tastes like
thyme.
what?
It'll taste just like Mrs. Grass soup of the old days, man. It's got a little dill in there with that chicken noodle. Just where it's at. It's the cheap man's way to make it better.
Dude, dill pulls
I use it,
flavor
though.
out of everything, man. Dill's great.
And you can make
Try
if you grow dill and you grow cucumbers, you can make dill pickles.
There you go. I want to give a
Yes.
shout out. I'm smoking some Stank Breath from Shredder today. It was awesome, man. I went through, did a socially distant meetup with him, and then I went over to Doc Dankestein's with a socially distant meetup again. So this is nice. I looked it up. It's like DNA genetics. I also have some 24 karat from him that is really nice. So cheers, everybody. I hope that still hanging in there with us. If you have any other questions for us, drop them in the chat. Other than that, we're coming up on our last 20 minutes.
So when you gonna start doing some booch, Red, so I can get you some basil and you can make me.
There's just too many
my basil
projects. I really want to. I want to so bad. I really
Should
do.
make your
I'm
own.
thinking it's gonna be a while, but that's a project that I'll definitely get into. Like once it's rolling, it's rolling. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna be that big of an issue. It's just like the whole setup portion of it is the project. So not until I have my bedroom finished and I have like a solid system going on the outside, you know, obviously that's coming up really fast, and I'm going to be tied up with outdoor projects as soon as the snow probably melts and we're getting into March. So I probably got 4 weeks until I'm back to cranking outside. But once that happens, I mean, outside, I mean, once everything's underway and seeds are planted and everything's in the ground and I'm up to watering midsummer, I can imagine I'm all good and caught up on the inside stuff. I can imagine I could get some booching going around then. Might be a good time of year to source a SCOBY, you know, good and warm.
There's some
SCOBYs
girls
available.
locally around here that started a kombucha
Local girls?
company.
They want to talk to Red? Is that what it
The
is?
Apple Blossom Kombucha. Shout out to those girls. They started a kombucha company and they're taking off. And you know
Do they
what?
distribute, or you have to go there to get it?
I'm not quite sure. They just opened up a storefront and
In Lansing?
yeah, and I believe they're around there or getting around to shipping. I'm not quite sure if they're doing it yet. I haven't heard, but shout out to them because I think that's pretty cool. You know, kombucha
That
is
is cool.
Does it take a long time for that to the process for that?
I have no idea.
I think
kinda
it's just like
ferment.
making beer, isn't it? It has to all ferment. So, you know, it's just like making beer. It probably doesn't take 30 days, maybe a couple weeks.
I have no idea.
I see some people talking about killing some flavors and things. It is possible to like overdo it with some herbs and stuff as far as flavor goes. I never eat for flavor. That's kind of one of the things that I really eat for. I mean, obviously, I want to make stuff taste good and things like that. But to be more honest, I just throw a whole bunch of ingredients that I know is the recipe that I'm kind of looking to put in my body, and then I just make it work. So like, I will like kind of overdo it with dill, and I know what you're talking about, and because I do it with rosemary and thyme. I'll put a ton of rosemary and thyme in a dish, and you can actually overdo it with rosemary to a point where it's not beneficial and it's actually harmful to you. So there's stuff that you really want to watch out with, like I was talking about before. Nutmeg, I don't even put nutmeg in my dishes just because it's of this one reason. But and you need a lot of it. I think you need like a whole nut or something like that. You need a decent amount of it, but it actually can be toxic to you. So, you know, there's certain spices and things that, you know, potentially be cause organ failure and things like that. So you really want to watch it with some stuff. But otherwise, like stuff that's actually good for you and is going to benefit your health, I really like kind of overdo it. I get some of those beneficial oils and things like that. Especially in the wintertime. Summertime, it's a little bit different. You know, if I'm cooking for other people and things like that, you know, very, very mild with flavors. But if I'm cooking for myself, it's just raw substance, get it in my body. How can I, you know, I'm usually on the go and things like that. I try not to eat for flavor too often, or else I'm going to be eating fast food all the time. So
Ugh. That would be a hell of a difference for you, wouldn't it?
It still happens. You know, I still eat
Okay.
fast food. No. I mean, you're on the go. You can't make it to a grocery store. I mean, this shit happens, man. I kind of live in the country. I'm decently distance from a grocery store, or at least at the time that I'm passing by grocery stores is usually like the middle of the night, it's late, or I'm passing to or fro some areas where I can't hold food, or how it goes. So like yeah, there's times where I'm on the road and I have to source something else,
Getting that sack of White Castles, man.
yeah, I try to watch where I'm sourcing, but at the same time it's sometimes just whatever's convenient.
Nothing but the best steamed
Hortons,
meat products
whatever.
for
Try to
Red
stay
Center.
away from McDonald's and things like that. Try rather go to like Culver's or something like that if I could, but you never always just have that option. So, but you know what, man? I also try to just stay away from beef in general and heavy meats. I try.
Somebody
to keep
earlier
it
had
in
asked about
better
how
proteins.
you figured out that chicken was what led to your headaches, and I didn't want to let that slide by because that caught my attention as well.
Chicken and beef, and it was doing a lot of diet experiments. Honestly, that's how I found out I was lactose intolerant. That's how I found out a couple of other things. Just diet experiments. It's how I doing diet experiments and changing my diet is how I quit smoking cigarettes. Obviously, there was entheogens and things like that involved in the mind change process.
Hey, now
but
there we go.
the entheogens showed me that, hey, you made this huge life-changing decision of a kind of like a discipline, right? You discipline yourself to actually focus it with. So for me, it was the dairy thing, right? No milk products, which included foods that have milk products in them. That includes breads, crackers, all kinds of stuff, and I really went kind of hardcore into it because it was just uncomfortable. The lactose reactions that I would get, it was discomfort, like actual pain, and like I was tired of it. You know what I mean? Cannabis only works so much. You know what I mean? I just didn't want it anymore. So I kind of like changed up my diet. Discovered through diet research that it was lactose that I was doing it. Like, for a while I was just out of milk, right? And I just didn't have any. And I noticed that I wasn't having these certain pains, and I wasn't in pain, and I was feeling really good. And I was kind of just going on like a natural green diet. I was eating a lot of vegetables and things like that for a little while, and I felt really good. And then one night we kind of went grocery shopping and had some additional stuff in the house, and I had some cereal, had some milk. Sure enough, the pains came back. So I wasn't sure, was it the cereal or the milk? Was it a grain? What was it? So then I went back and did a different trial, right? And I did milk, just a glass of milk, and sure enough, it came back. So then I tried, well, how deep does it go with the milk? Is it as severe as goat cheese or like feta cheese? So I tried some feta cheese in a salad. Yeah, it sucked. It hurt. So then I kind of just went lactose free completely. I fucked up my diet a long time ago, just working basically in fast food, working like chicken wing restaurants and things like that.
You were all about that fried food.
Yeah, eating fried food for decades, man. Decades of just a systematic diet of that. And it destroyed my microbiome in my gut, all of the good bacteria that would normally be able to process stuff like heavy lactose and things like that, like I was able to when I was a child. Just wasn't there anymore. It just wasn't working for me. So I took it out of my diet thinking that was the best option for it, when in reality it was kind of what we started doing this summer with probiotics like Spartan kombucha, and I started drinking kombucha earlier this summer and messing with probiotics, finding out that being able to eat some cheese isn't as bad as it used to be. It's almost like my gut is okay now. I can't really drink milk. I can't do butters or creams or anything like that, but I can do cheese. I can't do like an aioli or anything like that, but I can do some cheese. I can definitely do some feta. Feta is very easy on my stomach right now, so it's great. I can go back to like some solids, and I put feta cheese in my eggs and my omelets and things like that for that reason.
Salads, man, salads.
And definitely on my salads. It just adds that little bit of not only pop and flavor, but the mineral, the vitamins that I want that's in cheese. Yeah, we're all lactose intolerant, and we all should kind of avoid it to an extent. But at the same time, certain cheese, I mean, it's not bad for our body. It's good for our body. They're actually good for us, in moderation. A lot of cheese will do bad things to our body and stuff like that. A lot of dairy products will do bad things to our body. But like I said, depending on how some things are sourced, it's okay to milk a cow. There's nothing really wrong with that, or a goat.
Abolished, make a meme of that. The whole time you were talking about cheese, bro, I was thinking of the old 70s. ABC used to have these, like Saturday morning cartoons and shit. They used to have this little like cheese ball thing. And he had like a big fucking hat on, big cowboy hat. And he was like, when you're 10 gallons hats, feeling 5-gallon flat, and you're hankering for a hunka, a slab of slice of chunka, hankering for a hunk of cheese.
I'm afraid that I just said that, and I know that I'm gonna get hassled because of
it, bro. It's
you have
it's
to keep cows in certain stages, like keep them milking and stuff. But like you could always cycle your cows. I mean, there's probably very ethical ways. There's probably very well. I'm destroying phrases right now. Mnemonics. I don't know my mnemonics right now. I don't know how to speak. So I'm just gonna say blatant words. But yeah, man. I'm sure that there's ethical ways of being able to source that stuff. So I mess with it. I enjoy it. I want to be able to like grow fish, grow stuff like that. So I'll still eat fish and things like that. As far as like sustainable eating goes. But yeah, I mean, being able to grow your own food or source your own food and meats is probably the best way about it. But yes, chicken.
Rallies,
how did I figure that?
Sunday Rallies had 2 double cheeseburgers for $5. I ate both those fuckers.
That sounds like
we are making people's
2 days worth of headaches, but I'll eat them. I'll fuck with that, dude. I will do that, and that's like sometimes that's like a Monday thing for me. It's like a once every couple weeks or once a week every now and then. I'll risk the headache and I'll give myself a couple burgers, and it's like it's not all red meat, man. Like if I have really good steak, very good like fed steak, I'm good. If I eat shitty beef, something that's very high in salts and other probably hormones and stuff like that, that's what does it. It's that stuff that does it. I'm very sensitive to all that overly processed crap, all chemicals and things. My body recognizes it. It knows it's in tune. And here's another thing, man. When you're on one of those like living diets or a healthy diet, and I don't want to call it a healthy diet. If you're on a living diet or a green diet, you're limited on leaner protein, or you're higher on leaner proteins, limited on heavy proteins and things like that. When you go back to something like a fast food hamburger, or if you go back to something that's heavy in sugar and it's like heavy in protein and things like that, you feel it in your energy level depleting. You don't really feel, here's the thing, is when you're eating a green or living diet, you don't really feel yourself coming up until you actually feel yourself coming down. That's the thing, is like you're just going about life just sort of seems better. You're just kind of happier, you're a little bit better because all these microbes, everything's doing its job.
Sounds like microdosing.
It's very much like microdosing. And you know why? Because it's a serotonin uptake, and serotonin is more dealt with in our guts. When you microdose, you're boosting your serotonin, so you're feeling this. And when you're eating a green and healthy diet and boosting your microbe levels in your gut, you're also maintaining your serotonin levels, so you are happier. When you start destroying your gut and your body with heavy sugars and you start doing that kind of stuff,
I think the classic example is the whole depression in the wintertime. It's because people don't have the fresh food anymore to eat.
Yes, that
and the lack of sunlight, the vitamin D.
D. It's very important right now.
Plenty of vitamin D up here in Spartan Groans house. Plenty of vitamin D up here.
Come get the D at Spartan Groans. Aren't you glad you stayed awake for this, Peony Lady?
I am.
You're hanging in there.
Speaking of microdosing, I have to tell you my story about Thanksgiving one year back in the day, back in my 20s. For Thanksgiving, I decided I got I don't even remember how many mushrooms, but just a shitload of mushrooms, and just made Thanksgiving dinner and put that shit in the gravy. I put it in the mashed potatoes. We got so fucking blown out. It was the best night ever. There was 12 of us. And
Thankfulness.
Man, we were thankful as
Yeah, man. You are definitely late sesh material. You can come back anytime and hang out with us with that story.
It was great. It was so, yeah. Thankful.
It was magical, it sounds like.
It was magical.
Magically delicious.
Hey, Skilbo, I can't believe it took me this long to notice, but fucking
Yes.
that's a nice shirt you're wearing there, bro. That's
That's
fucking
very nice, isn't it?
beautiful, man.
I knew you would like that.
It is nice. It's nice.
Very nice. Not just nice, it's very nice.
I noticed that Sequence didn't make any comments at all, one way or the other, about it, so he must not have paid attention tonight. Otherwise, he couldn't resist himself. He'd have to be chapped ass about it. I mean, I like the color green, you know? What can I say?
Yep.
I know, man. Most cool people do, man. It's something we have in common.
I have blue on. You probably can't tell, but
What's your shirt say?
Queens of Stone Age.
Queens
Sweet.
of Stone Age.
Queens of Stone Age. But yeah, blue and yellow. There's some yellow in here. Spartan, just so you know.
See,
I
okay.
don't see shit. I don't see any shit. I don't know what you're talking
I don't
about.
see any colors, right?
I can't help it. It's what I was raised. I was raised a Wolverine, even though I'm a trader. I know. I don't believe me. It doesn't go well around these parts.
Hey, I'm just saying I'm a Spartan because I have my own fucking mind and I make my own decisions, and it doesn't matter how I'm raised. My mother is a U of M fan.
Okay, there you go.
Well, that's the way I was raised, and that's what I like because they were winners for a long time. Now they're not.
You bet you're dating yourself now, right?
Yeah, I have to comment on that because that's what I always hear is "were." There's always that "were" in front of everything.
But that's what I grew up on, so I knew us as winners. So of course I'm going to root for the fucking winners. Yeah, go blue. But no, I root for both, just not when State's playing Michigan.
You know, Sequence has got to be a sleeper. He would have come in and fucking had to say something.
I can't say much. I'm impartial because I don't really follow the sports as much. But my brother went to U of M, so that's kind of always been our leaning side of the family. Has always kind of been a go blue side of the family. And now that I live in Washtenaw County, it's kind of a similar deal. I'm just kind of in Ann Arbor territory, man. Everything's maize and blue around here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. Unfortunately,
they got flags out in front by you, don't they? They got the Michigan
town.
flags. I've seen a few driving up there.
Oh,
the kind you put on your porch, the big
people
ones,
have like their stuff painted all. Yeah, everything's go blue around.
Some mailboxes.
There's a handful of like states, but yeah, there's a handful of like Ohio State fans.
Well, that's fucking bold, isn't it?
It is bold. I agree, but they're around. Yeah, they're around.
That's just uncalled for. Is what that is.
I mean,
I'm
about
sure
the only thing
there's
that
one or
Michigan and
two.
Michigan State can agree upon is that they both dislike Ohio State.
We may even have one or two Ohio State fans.
You got to at least. I mean, Michigan's at least in the state.
That
I'll
live
give
in
them that.
Michigan.
For God's sakes, at least.
That's what always threw me off. Was the Ohio State fans that live in the state of Michigan. But, we're close. We're close. They probably got family down there or something. They just enjoy the colors. They like the team. Everybody has a reason. Similar.
What
to
a show! What a
You got
show,
the red
guys!
going
We have
on
just
there.
gone all over the fucking place. We got to go back to soup before we get out of here, though, to tie a big bow.
I
on
got a
this.
big pot of soup waiting for me after the
Did
show.
we finish the
man.
permaculture
Talk about
co-planting
it.
garden thing yet? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, man. We're back in the gut, and we're back in all the little microbes and everything that we're feeding. We're feeding them good food, and they're keeping us healthy. You don't really so much feel the rise in like energy and sustainability like when you're eating a green or living diet than you do like when you eat something shitty after you've eaten really well for like a couple of weeks, let's say, and then you eat like a fast food burger. You just like eat a lot of sugar or something one night, not just the next day. You almost feel hungover. You almost have like a serious hangover. You feel sick. You feel nauseous. You feel like you fucked up. You know what I mean? You're like, whoa, what happened? What did I do to myself? You're just like out of it.
Get a hangover,
Not
food
thinking
hangover.
You have a food hangover. You totally do. You have a sugar food hangover. We consume this so regularly that we're just tolerant to the feelings of it. But once you change your diet into something different and you become tolerant to that, and then you see how like drug-like processed foods and sugars really are, like actual drug-like, not like sustaining you like a high,
Partially
but more
hydrogenated
like doping you
soybean oil.
down. Yeah, like doping you down type stuff.
Before we get out of here, this
That's our
whole
food.
episode is
Yeah.
due to Painted Lady asking that she wanted to learn more about Red and food and all of this stuff. So let us know in the chat if you've enjoyed this. Before we get out of here, I do want to actually do some proper sign-offs for once. Usually we just cut on some funny shit with Red just to keep it interesting. But Painted Lady, thank you so much for stopping by to hang out with us this evening. You want to tell everybody where they can see you again?
Thanks again for having me, you guys. And yeah, Red, I appreciate it because the stuff that you post on Instagram, that the stuff that you cook and the stuff that you grow in your garden and everything has always just inspired me. So yeah, cool. Thanks for having me. I appreciate being an honorary Late Sesh member tonight. And everybody can find me on Instagram and Cannabis at Painted Lady Gardens. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Painted Lady. Really happy to have you on board tonight.
Come on
Definitely
back through.
an honorary Late Sesh member for sure.
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll make you a late sesher.
Exactly. We've worked our way with Spartan.
Awesome.
Spartan, you want to do
Yeah,
some
you're
shout outs?
definitely
Let them know where
better
they can find you.
Spartan Grown on Instagram, all one word. And then I am so baked. Spartan Grown at Gmail.
Mission accomplished then.
So yeah, if you don't do the social media, hit me up on Gmail. I'll try to get back to you. Growers love everybody. I can't think. I'm ready for bed, and I'm gonna get that soup first, and then ready for bed.
See, John Dell wants us to make you full-time Painted Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Thanks, guy. That's so nice.
Almost better as a quad, I suppose. Quartet.
A quartet? I know. It used to be a duet.
The Brady Bunch thing was awesome, by the way.
Shout out to Abolish
out
for
to
that. Yeah.
Brady Bunch thing was awesome. I mean, that was my jam, Skilbo. I mean, we grew up on that shit. You had to watch the Brady Bunch.
Okay, here's your trivia question before we get out of here. What was if you're such a big fan of the Brady Bunch, who's the first person that can tell me what the dog's name was?
It was Tiger.
Oh, nice. Come quick with it. That's right. Okay. Get up off of me, Skilbo. I got you.
And the cousin's name was Oliver.
He was the death knell. Whenever they bring a new character on, it's kind of like Poochie when they did with the Simpsons. They brought him on for the whole thing to reanimate the show. So yeah, it's not working. Red, I'm the one babbling this evening. Let me throw it over to you.
It's all right, man. That's all right. Save me for a second. I want to thank Painted Lady for that kind shout out to my Instagram, because that's kind of like the primary. I post story just for whatever. It's usually just kind of shit's going on through the day, but really it's like it's that kind of stuff. Like I want to share not just recipes and stuff like that, but like maybe give somebody like motivation to change up their diet and talk about it. Let's talk about our food system. Our food system kind of sucks. It does. It's way too expensive. I don't even like the phrase eating healthy. Like it should just be called eating. You should just be eating normal.
You are what you eat, man.
Yeah, exactly. This is eating, not eating healthy. That's why I like saying eating a living diet or eating like a green diet, because we all talk about eating healthy, but really it's like we're just too used to eating poorly.
Right.
Eating poorly has become eating. So thank you, Painted Lady. Check out my Instagram. Anybody else? Red Setter Farm. It's all cannabis. It's my cannabis photography and everything. But like on my story, I'm a natural farmer, and we're getting back into the summer. I'll be posting a lot more of my outdoor garden and things like that. I do have like a garden page. It's really just my personal page under my personal name and things like that some people know me by. But otherwise, Red Setter Farm is just more medicinal. So really food, in my opinion, is medicine. And that's why I include the food portion into my storyline, as well as like pretty much Red Setter Farm as a caregiver service out of the Irish Hills area. However, my personal life is just included with just everything. Cannabis is medicine, food is medicine, cannabis is plants, food is plants. So there's a huge crossover. I want to include that. Same deal with mycology. So you're going to see all of that kind of stuff like in the storyline of what's going on, because that's my day-to-day. That's my life. Storyline of that's kind of my life. And then otherwise, cannabis and the whole photography behind that. So that's my Instagram. You can find me here on the Michigan Bros Grow Show Sunday nights with everybody at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And to answer Stabby's question, I did not macrodose. I'm actually quite terrified of macrodosing. About 10 years ago, maybe you'll hear this story one night on a little thing. We'll kind of plug this. Abolish and I are trying to work
Yes.
on. We're gonna figure out a platform. I might have to create a channel.
I'm
We're
in.
gonna have a little late sesh. I want to do a harm reduction type of a channel and really get into plant entheogens and things. Now, more areas are coming on board. More and more people are going to be experimenting. And just like people need to know how to like consume and grow cannabis and dose cannabis properly, and people need to know how to like use other things properly. So, fortunately, I've had myself yes, Stabby, I have had fair share of experience of macrodosing, but I'm actually quite terrified. I've had my fair share of like HPPD because of that. I've had my fair share of bad trips and things, and I've also had some fake substances that may or may not have given me a PTSD that I just can't go above a microdose. I just kind of have it stuck with me. So for that reason, I do enjoy the let's say the serotonin boosting benefits, the focus oriented benefits that microdosing does have. I believe that it is definitely a great medicine for people who do suffer with things like PTSD, anxiety, depression, ADHD, and all of that. Is that the baby come back bell? Because
It is. It is. You you had to get the bell, baby.
Stabby, check out. Just do Stabby. I need to download Discord. That's probably why I haven't been checking my Discord messages, man. I apologize.
Can't kill him right now, Spartan. He's just too
I'll
good
have
at
to pull
vibes,
it up.
man.
I'll have to pull it up on the. But anyways, man, Skilbo, you get a sign off now. Go for it.
I get to finally do one of these.
I'm just gonna.
I am Skilbo1 on Instagram, Skilbo17 on YouTube, and at Gmail. Thanks for coming through. I do want to give a couple of shout outs before I do go. Thanks to Shredder for the hookup, and thank you, Doc Dankenstein. It was cool to see you again today. And earlier somebody had said, that thanks for the show. It's, humor is healing. Exactly. That's exactly what this is, man.
Oh, so
even in these
so
times,
Stabby
no,
the psych substance.
no, Red, no.